tonight as well, too, man. We're seeing this stuff worldwide as well. DJ, when he gets in, he's gonna play an article, man. They got over there in Great Britain and stuff like that. You got strip search, illegal strip searches going on. I kid you not, man. In this one strip search, they had this girl over there in Great Britain. They made this girl they illegally strip searched her, made her because they thought she had cannabis on her, made her take out her tampon as well, too. I mean, this was just this stuff, man, you can't make this stuff up.
Oh no, you can't. Oh no, let me tell you, man. When I lived in California, this brother, we used to play tennis and stuff together, and he called me one. I think it was like on a Sunday morning, about 2 o'clock in the morning. He called me. He goes, "Man, I just got molested." And so, Santa Monica PD or LAPD, I think it was Santa Monica or LAPD. They pulled him over, and then the guy just started grabbing his crotch and just held his hand down there, and we just basically sat on the phone and didn't hardly say anything to each other. But I knew how the brother felt. You know, you got a damn man, got his hand all over you. I mean, this thing going on, and the saddest part about it, those so-called black elected officials, as well as these supposedly black organizations, they won't say anything when we're being molested like this, but let it happen to somebody else. Oh, they up there front and center want to get their face in the knees. Man, but man, we stayed on the phone until like about 6 o'clock in the morning. Half the time, I'm just there, for him. He's like, he was really pissed off that, another man touching you, this shit's crazy as hell.
Yeah, man, and I saw a video on YouTube too, and the bad thing about it was the damn sound went out. DJ, what's going on? Professor, what's going on? One Love Black. This is my Twitter name. Everybody that's coming up in the space, Florida, CJ, this is not Volvo. What's going on, y'all? In case y'all didn't know, man, if y'all have not, I have not been able to tweet anything out. I'm on a 6-day Twitter jail suspension and whatnot. So luckily, I was able to still do the Twitter spaces, y'all. So y'all won't be seeing me post anything from Newstoter in the next 6 days. Luckily, I'm able to go ahead and do the Twitter spaces. Kind of got into it when one of the black LGBTQ members yesterday and whatnot, and Twitter went ahead and this person was stalking me, following me all damn for the past 24 hours, just hating and whatnot. I responded, and apparently Twitter, they went ahead and they slapped the cuffs on me. So it is what it is. And that's what happens when you own one of these white-owned platforms. We keep talking about that social. We need to go ahead and make that migration, y'all. We need to get up out of here, man. This is Mr. Charlie's Ram right here. He controls and runs everything. And don't think for a second because Elon Musk is now the owner of Twitter, because they told Elon Musk straight up how things going to be if he wants that advertisement dollar as well, too. So don't think things are going to change drastically, whatnot. Like, you can say stuff about everybody else, but certain groups on here, you can't say. Y'all saw that when y'all was in the space the other night when we was talking about the J people and whatnot, how things got shut down real proper.
Hey, man, it only comes to us, man, when people can just dog us out and say anything about us, but everybody else, shit, look out. You're going to catch hell behind it. But yeah, you can say anything about Black American freedom.
Oh yeah, and like I say, I'm gonna be more careful because this is the second time this year. The first time I was suspended for maybe about 12 hours. This is the second time I've been suspended. So you know what they say, 3 strikes and you out or whatever. So I'm gonna just go ahead and just let folks. Normally I ride on folks. I was riding on this chick. I end up blocking or whatever, but still, you know what I'm saying? It still came back to bite me in the ass or whatever. So I'm going to let it be what it is, y'all. I'm going to read this article real quick because we got 3 that we want to touch on. We want to talk about the strip search and the black males. We want to talk about the racist white supremacy teacher talking about ethnocentrism in damn Texas schools and how his race is superior to everybody else's race. He's telling a bunch of damn middle school kids that. We also want to touch up on the pregnant black woman also that also was shot in Florida. Luckily, the woman is alive. She's okay and this and that. So we're going to touch up on a few issues and stuff tonight, a few topics, y'all. Like I say, I'm still, even though I might not be tweeting out, I might be in Twitter jail right now, I'm still going to try to drop these Twitter spaces when I can and whatnot to y'all. So if you're missing that black content, give me a few days. We'll be back pumping it back out as we regularly do. For right now, when in Rome, you have to do what the Romans say, and we definitely in Rome right now. So, DJ, what's going on, man?
Ain't no reparations of black
What's going on, Newstoter, Professor Original Ray? I see you down there. Ain't nothing much over here, man. Fuck Twitter, you already know. Social gang, social gang.
That's right. Big up, brothers. And to all the people in the space, man. Original, I see you down there, brother, man. Always good to see you. Shit, everybody, man, we got to get, like they said, we got to get out of this Twitter, man. They trying to make sure that we don't say anything back to these trolls and these no good ass LGBT alphabets or whatever they want to call themselves. We got to move on, y'all.
Yeah, Ray, and I'm trying to make you a co-host, and once again, Twitter, I don't know what the hell Twitter's talking about. Like, I got one co-host, and they talk about you can only have, I don't know what Twitter's talking about, so they talk about you can only have one.
Because of your suspension, they could have limited more features.
Oh, okay, that's possible. Yeah.
What'd you say?
I was trying to make you a co-host, but like DJ said, it could be because of my suspension. They may have limited some of the features as well, too. So I got you as a speaker right now. So just stay chill up in the speaker spot. Hopefully after this 6-day serving, this little 6-day jail stint right here, we'll be back on everything rolling. Let me go ahead, y'all. I want to touch up on this first article here. Let me touch up on this first article real quick, y'all. Hold on 1 second. Give me 1 second. Let me go ahead. I'm going to put y'all on mute. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, so, at the end of the day, y'all, this whole strip search thing, this is definitely nothing new. The police been doing this for forever and a day. That's why we call them jokers Copperfield. Is they be trying to, molest and fill up on black men and women. You know what I mean? This is why they constantly pull us over, want strip services, all this other stuff. And then, the sister that had the tampon taken out, I would have threw it at them jokers, man. Real rap. Go ahead, Tom.
Real talk, man. And this, we're going to go back in time. This was back in 2016. It was on levy.com. And it says Milwaukee settles racially tinged body cavity strip search suits with 74 black men. Back in January 19, 2016, the Milwaukee Common Council today approved a $5 million settlement that will be divided among 74 African-American young men, including a 15-year-old boy and a wheelchair-bound paraplegic who were subjected to illegal body cavity strip searches by Milwaukee police as part of a widespread and racially discriminatory pattern and practice of MPD. Yeah, what is going on with this speaker here? Approval of his historic settlement demonstrates that the city of Milwaukee has at least accepted its responsibility for the blatantly unconstitutional conduct of its District 5 unit of power shift police officers that was led by now convicted felon Michael Vangani. Attorneys for the men and several of their clients will hold press conferences to discuss in detail the meaning and ramifications of this settlement after it is finalized by the approval of the mayor with signatures of the agreed search victims. So this was back in 2016, y'all, but we're still getting all kind of reports. We see, like I said, on YouTube, I saw a black woman and he had a black cop taking her, and they're strip searching people in public too. They're pulling them over on the side of the road doing illegal strip searches, which is supposed to be conducted in private, to my understanding. So not only we got the white ones, we got the black ones going on as well too. DJ, I want you to when you get a chance, I want you to put those two videos on. You got one that's over here. This is the old video talking about what's going on. And like I said, you still got this going on in every major city. You have illegal strip searches. They're doing a lot of stuff to these black men out here. They feel like these black men are dirty. They're criminals, this and that. They're not going to run and tell anybody. They're getting felt up, touched up, and this and that by police officers up here sticking fingers up people's rectums, playing with their genitals, their privates, and everything else and whatnot, feeling like, hey, you don't want to be shamed. You're not going to say anything. So we definitely got to make sure that we go ahead and keep this coming.
Yeah, for sure. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to load it up.
Go ahead and load it up whenever you get a chance. Y'all give him 1 second. He's going to load the video up.
Yeah, apologies, y'all. I'm over here on the computer. hear that in the background, bro?
I can't hear anything right now.
It's like an echo or something going on over here.
Go ahead and try it now. I'm gonna mute my mic.
All right. Oh, damn, it's still there. I don't know what the hell that is, bro. Hold on a second, bro. I ain't got nothing over. Oh, let me do all in one in real time. Hold on, hold your.
While you doing that, I'll go ahead and I'll just touch up on the next topic real quick. And this is from the New York Post. Pregnant homeless Florida woman shot while sleeping in the car with 3 children. A pregnant homeless mother was shot in the head Wednesday morning as she and her 3 children slept inside the family's car in Florida, police said. The family of 5 was sleeping in their car across the street from Martin Luther King Jr. Recreation Complex in Tampa Bay when the father noticed headlights from a dark-colored 2-door sedan pull in front of their rental car at 4:30 a.m., according to police. The gunman immediately fired shots at the family's car before fleeing. The pregnant mother, who was in her 20s, was shot in the head but sustained a non-life-threatening injury. She was taken to an area hospital. The father and the 3 children, a 9-year-old girl, 4-year-old boy, and 3-year-old girl, were not injured, cops said. The shooter was still on the loose early Thursday, police said, adding the attack appears to be random. The family told police they had recently moved back to Tampa after living out of state for a few months. A relative of theirs in the city did not have room to house them, so they had been living in a rental car. Through Choice Hotels, the Tampa police helped the family find temporary housing. Tampa police brought the children McDonald's breakfast after the traumatizing attack, the department said. Pretty traumatizing that your pregnant mom gets shot. Luckily, thank God, none of those kids or the father was shot or killed. Thank God the mother wasn't she wasn't seriously hurt in there as well too. So definitely glad to hear about that. Unfortunately, in our country that we live in, it's a shame that our citizens have to live. You got a whole family living out of the car because their other family didn't have room to put them up. So the affordable housing in this country is a joke right now. Everything is sky high. Rent is sky high. You got people that's been paying into the system their entire life, and they can't get any benefit going on in this country right now. But we can get $37 billion that we can try to raise. That Joe Biden is trying to get an additional $37 billion to Ukraine, as if the billions they already got wasn't enough. And to make matters worse, as we discussed last night, New York City is going to pay close to $600 million yearly for housing illegal migrants in this country. So while we don't have the money to go ahead and make sure a family has a roof over their head, we do have the money to go ahead and send it overseas. And we do have the money to give it to non-citizens in this country who came here on their own accord. I understand the horrible lives they probably left behind in other countries and stuff of that nature. But first and foremost, before you can go ahead and take care of somebody else, you got to take care of home. You can't sit up here and say, you know what, I'm gonna you homeless, but yet you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna house somebody else. You can't do that. And right now we're ignoring our own people right here. So like I said, thank God that nothing seriously happened, that this woman wasn't killed because some fool just randomly went up there and decided he was gonna go ahead and start shooting up a damn car and whatnot. For what was the point of going and just shooting up a car? Not like even carjacking somebody. Well, let me just go ahead and shoot the car up. Thank God none of the kids were injured. Hopefully that she gives birth to a healthy baby. Thank God the father wasn't injured as well too. So Florida, Freeman, you got your hand up. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey family. Excuse my, I'm playing my daughter in the background, so you'll hear that. But I just want to touch on the topic real quick. So I did reach out to this family. My organization connected with them. So first I want to say that I don't think that this was a random attack. This individual, Christopher Stamot Jr., whatever his name is, he apparently, according to the father, he basically circled their car like 5 times, and then before shooting into the car 13 times. Right. So to me, that doesn't seem like some random individual. I don't know if he was like stalking them or saw that they were out there sleeping there. So I don't think that this was a random attack. I think it's a hate crime personally. But I'm, going to speak more with the family and see like what type of support they're needing and what avenues they might want to pursue, because they're still without housing, and they do have a GoFundMe, which I will share into the Jumbotron if I may. But
absolutely,
yeah.
go ahead and put that in there. Definitely put that in there. You say you don't believe, sister, this was a random attack. You think that this was actually something that was devised, plotted, and schemed, basically?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't see random circling in somebody's car 5 times. Clearly, you see it's a family in there, and you shoot in not once, not twice, but 13 times. Like, to me, that doesn't seem like, a random attack to me. I don't know about you all, but so yeah, I want to see what they want to pursue in terms of, because I mean, I think that's a hate crime, to be honest. And also, it's also important to recognize not only the homelessness problem that you touched on, but how that connects with the maternal mortality crisis as well. We have a pregnant woman who has been shot in the head, released from the hospital with a bullet still in her head. God knows what type of infection she could be open to, or what have you. There's just so many circumstances, and to have a family displaced like that, and pregnant, like it just leads to so much more stress. And I'm also a doula, so this is the work that I'm focused on as well. And so it's just very connected. The homelessness issue here in Florida, connected with the maternal mortality issues here in Florida, as well as the infant mortality. Like, there's another family as well that I'm working with who's dealing with the same kind of homelessness issue, again, while looking for housing, while having a baby, while enduring the just the anti-Black medical racism that has resulted in one case of an emergency C-section where a baby had to be delivered at 23 weeks. So, and this baby is still fighting now. So there's just so much going on here, and connecting it with the homelessness issue. I definitely want to speak more about that, but I'll share the link in the chat.
Okay. Now, because I'm suspended, y'all, they made that may be one of the features they took out the Jumbotron as well too. So, like I said, for everybody that's in the space that don't know, I'm suspended 6 days on Twitter. I can't tweet anything out, I might be able to but I can't comment or tweet or retweet anything out. So, definitely, if you don't mind, Florida, go ahead and DM me that, or DM the co-host, and we'll try to go ahead and get it out there. At this point, I'm in Florida as well myself too, so unfortunately, like I say, I don't think that's one of the features right now. They won't allow us to actually put anything in the Jumbotron. So hopefully in the next 6 days, when this thing clears up, we can go ahead and get the Twitter Spaces back to the way they normally run and whatnot. But thank you for sharing that. And like I say, and I agree with you on that too. Like, I'm hoping the best for this mother. Like you say, you get a doggone bullet in the head and stuff like that, and you carrying a child, and just the added stress you already have trying to she already has 3 other kids, married, you're living in the car, out of the car. You add this to this is horrible, like I say. And hopefully maybe our politicians here in Florida, while DeSantis is going ahead and he's using taxpayer money as well to go ahead and put it in the actual take the migrants to the NYC and Washington, stuff like that. Maybe they can go ahead and take some of this money and put this family up for a while too. I know they said they got them at the Tampa Choice Hotels, or Choice Hotels or whatever, but they need a permanent residence as well. So I see that the actual Jumbotron is on. So sister, if you want to go ahead and share that in the Jumbotron, by all means, go ahead and share that in the Jumbotron. We definitely wish the best for this family as well too. Our heart goes out to them. I'm sorry to hear about such an unfortunate incident like that. It doesn't make sense that somebody would just randomly shoot a car or whatever either. So it seems like it might be more to the story that we're hearing right now.
Hey, just real quick, just to add on what that sister was saying, don't forget, we just did this space last night about, these immigrants getting, it's going to be costing New York City up to $600 million a year just to house these people. Biden administration, he got all his money to send to Ukraine, billions and billions of dollars, but not a lick for reparations, let alone cutting a check to all Americans that's been here, that's struggling because of the wolf flu. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, this is a issue why we saying the Black Caucus ain't ish. Y'all don't go stick up for us for nothing. We're like, what is the purpose of the Black Caucus? Well, go ahead, though. And let me know when you're ready for the video again.
Oh yeah, let's let Professor go ahead and kick it real quick, y'all. And I'm sorry, I had the mute button on. I'm sorry while I was talking, but let's go ahead and let Professor go ahead and get his in, and then we can go ahead and we can hit a video. We got 2 videos. I want you to play both of them. I want you to play the one that was like 1 minute, and the other one that was like 10 minutes, because you got one that's over here talking about what the actual black boys went through. Then you see the global racism and the global white supremacy that we keep talking about. You got people over there in Great Britain, and you think, and we've been strip searched not only in this country but all over the world. We've been strip searched. So we definitely got to hear this right here. Professor, go ahead and unmute your mic. And for you guys that can, you go ahead, and I can't put in the actual I can't put anything in the Jumbotron, but go ahead, and if you can, follow us on YouTube, follow Newstoter on YouTube, and also subscribe to the Newstoter newsletter. I can't put anything in the Jumbotron, so everything you see that's in there today, tonight, DJ's putting up in there. Also, if you can, contribute to us on Cash App. That's $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Professor, go ahead and unmute your mic. And everybody that's in the space, go ahead. We can't tweet it out. I can't tweet it out either. So everybody that's in the space, please, if you could, go ahead and tweet out the space for us. Go ahead and tweet out the space. Professor, go ahead and unmute your mic.
All right. Thank you, Newstoter, DJ, Ray, everybody in space, man. Good to see everybody. Peace, power, reparations. As you see, more and more stories keep coming out of the daily struggles of Black Americans. And to add on to what Newstoter and what DJ have just said, the Democrats are going to do whatever they can to continue to bring these immigrants in to remove us or to replace us. And just to add on to that is Charles Schumer said today that he want to try to go ahead and try to do what he can to pass legislation, y'all, to basically make it legal for these people to come in and do whatever.
We need to make sure we block that at all costs.
Yeah, I heard this dumbass was talking about, and my girl Tony sent a big F you to, but this dumbass talking about bringing immigrants over because the population, we can't make enough babies or some garbage.
Yeah, he said that. Yes, y'all. Charles Schumer got up there with a bunch of those
Just to reiterate what he exactly said, because we don't want to take it out of context purposes. He said that the American cannot reproduce itself like it used to since the COVID or something like that. But hold up a minute. There's more people here than we've ever had in history. So how we're not reproducing? And America is not a nation of immigrants, Chuck Schumer. So your parents are immigrants. Mine is not. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And you know what he's talking about? He's talking about white men and white women. That's who he's really talking about. Now, he put it in that cold language, talking about the American population is not reproducing fast enough. No, this is about the Caucasoids are not reproducing fast enough. That's what we're talking about here. So they're letting in these light colored Latin, or whatever you want to call them, browns, whatever, but they're bringing them in here like crazy, y'all, to basically to remove us and to just basically take over, and that's what they're doing. So we're seeing every day how they're doing things to move us out of the way. This is what white America wants to do, y'all. They want us out of the way, and they're determined to do that. That's why you keep seeing all these police shootings and nothing's being done about it. We can't get any kind of protections on the book, like the anti-black hate crime bill that we've been pushing for. We can't get that George Floyd Police Reform Act passed. I mean, you think about this. Why is it that all of the things that's supposed to be in relation to Black American, we can't seem to get it passed? I land my plane there.
Definitely appreciate that, Professor. DJ, go ahead and let everybody hear those. Play that short one first, and then play the one that's about 10 minutes, so we can everybody can kind of get an understanding exactly what we're talking about right here.
For sure. I'm gonna play the 1 minute 22-second one, and then I guess if you want to break for questions or whatever, or if I got something to say or whatever. But again, this one is Milwaukee Police Department strip search and violate at least 74 Black males. Hopefully my volume is okay. Let's turn it up. Let's go. Get your mic, please.
Order my pants. Touch my testicles if they like ease down and they put their hands right between my butt. Pull my jaws out, dug them up. Alright. The alleged victims keep coming forward. 8 Milwaukee police officers are under internal investigation, accused of performing illegal strip searches, including cavity searches on the streets where they're wearing any gloves. The items not one. There was no gloves. Kevin Freeman Jr. claims back in December he and some friends were violated during a traffic stop. When they searched me, they like eased down and they put their hands right between my butt. Then I try to reach back and so I try to reach back and try to stop them. They just got to slam, pull down my pants, touch my testicles. They like eased down and they put their hands right between my butt. Pull my jaws out, dug them up. All right. The alleged victims keep coming forward. 8 Milwaukee police officers are under internal investigation, accused of performing illegal strip searches, including cavity searches on the streets. Were they wearing any gloves? No, I didn't see not one. There was no glove. Kevin Freeman Jr. claims back in December he and some friends were violated during a traffic stop. When they searched me, they like eased down and they put their hands right between my butt. Then I try to reach back and so I try to reach back and try to stop them. They just got to slam.
Okay, that's that one right there, y'all. That's that one.
Yeah, and just for hindsight, this took place a few years ago, but this is still going on. Like I said, there's still widespread reports of black men, not only black men, black women as well, too, getting hit with these illegal strip searches and stuff in public. You know, people just going ahead and pretty much doing what they want to do, getting their feel on and this and that, and just pretty much, you know, fingers all up inside of people and stuff like that. Things that don't even require a strip search. You got a lot of the law enforcement people doing this, especially to men, because they feel like, hey, a man's not going to say anything about another man putting his finger up his, you know what. So that most men aren't going to complain about it. They just going to go ahead and take that because they'd be too ashamed to even say something about it. So you got quite a bit of this going on. Go ahead, DJ.
Ready for the second one?
Yeah, go ahead. Now this.
Hey, this one right here. Let me turn the volume back up.
Yeah, the second one is in Great Britain.
Yeah, this is overseas, y'all, over in UK, over in the Great Britain area. You know what I mean? So this one right here is Met Police, which is the Metro Police over there. Met Police strip search 650 children in 2 years. Figures show 650 children in 2 years. So a child could pretty, obviously somebody that's not an adult. So we're basically talking 17 and under. Y'all.
They talking about from like ages 10 to 17 or something like
Yeah. Let's listen to it. So okay, y'all get y'all some little bit of popcorn and a drink. It's about 13 minutes long. All right, 13 minutes long. And again, Met Police strip search 650 children in 2 years. Let's listen to it.
Strip search is one of the most intrusive powers at the police's disposal. The use of the tactic on children is now the subject of intense scrutiny. There was the case of a 15-year-old black girl on her period who was strip searched by police at school in Hackney after teachers wrongly thought she smelt of cannabis. Without her mum with her or even being told, child Q was made to remove her sanitary towel and spread her legs. A safeguarding report said racism was a likely factor in what happened to her. The Children's Commissioner for England used her legal powers to demand Metropolitan Police figures for intimate searches of children. Between 2018 and 2020, the Met strip searched 650 children. They've been stopped and searched, but not arrested. The vast majority were boys, and 58% were black. 23% of the strip searches were done without a parent or appropriate adult present.
Hey, I just want to stop it right there. Anything that's over 50%, you already know it's a problem. So 58%, this is a race problem. Let's go.
Half the time, children were let go without any further action. And that, according to Dame Rachel D'Souza, suggests strip searches are not always justified, but are always, in her words, traumatizing. Sace Holmes-Lewis is a South London youth worker who supported young people who've been strip searched. He also advises the Met on building relationships with communities, that says strip searches are a huge barrier to restoring faith in the police.
This is state-sanctioned child abuse, and unfortunately this is something which is reflective of how we've been policing our communities, especially black rich people. And the fact of the matter is that these are young people at the end of the day. They're children which are safe within society, within education, but they're not safe, and that's got to change, and the legislation needs to reflect that vulnerability of our young people.
The Metropolitan Police says it has to balance the need to sometimes carry out intrusive searches with the impact on children. but says it has made changes. The strip search of a child must now be authorised by an inspector, and the force says officers have been reminded there needs to be an appropriate adult, and children should be treated as children.
Well, I've been speaking to the Children's Commissioner for England, Dame Rachel D'Souza, about the data she published, and I started by asking what alarmed her most about the figures.
A couple of things concerned me. One was the poor state of the data. I couldn't use the 2021 data. It wasn't in a fit state. There was double counting and all sorts in there. Secondly, of these 650 strip searches, this isn't children in custody. This is children who were stopped and searched. These children were aged 10 to 17. 25% of them aged 10 to 15. What really concerned me was that, in a vast quarter of them, there was no responsible adult, no adult representing the child. It also concerned me, frankly, that there was a disproportionate number of black boys in the figures. So around 50% of the figures were black boys, rather than from other groups, which was worrying. And finally, I was concerned that in about 50% of the cases, no further action was taken. Now, for such an intrusive, invasive search, you would have hoped that it was done for a reason. And for there to be 50% with no further action, it's quite concerning.
Yeah, I mean, isn't the basic problem is that the police believe that this is a legitimate way to go about their work? And there is a fundamental question about whether it is ever appropriate to perform what a lot of people regard as a sexual assault sanctioned by the state on children.
Yeah, I mean, frankly, the first thing that shocked me the most was that the rules of having the appropriate adult there their own rules were not being kept. So I think that needs to change straight
with an adult there's got to be a question, hasn't there, about asking children to bend over and cough.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just so degrading.
And I think the fact that over half of these strip searches resulted in no further action makes that point and brings that point home even more severely. Why did we put a child through this when there was no further action needed?
Right, so when the police say to you, well, in half of these cases almost, we are finding grounds for the search, we are then going on to take further action against these children. And that is the reason why we need to do this. What's your answer?
Well, I would challenge that there wasn't a different way to get what they needed in terms of evidence, frankly.
And so, therefore, don't you need political intervention? I mean, you need a politician, a minister, to say, this is wrong, it's got to stop.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that the work that we've done and the data that we're sharing today will sort of wake people up to the sort of and make them see that this is widespread. It's not a one-off, and to actually start to question what's going on here. First of all, I want the Met's own rules to be kept. I want children to be properly safeguarded and to have an appropriate adult with them. But yes, I absolutely hope that the whole practice is questioned.
But finally, I mean, given how much this is happening, and it is very shocking, do you think there needs to be an investigation as to whether individual officers are abusing their powers for criminal reasons?
Yeah, look, I think what matters. I think what we're talking about here is accountability, and I hope by raising this issue, there will be far greater accountability. I've been given reassurances by the Met Police that things have changed, and that they're improving the way these things are done, the way sign-off of these things are done. I want to see that greater accountability embedded. Again, let's get back to what we're actually aiming for. We're trying to make sure that children can have trust in the adults in authority, the police, whose job it is to keep them safe, and to make sure that their well-being is paramount. That's the aim I'm trying to achieve.
Rachel D'Souza, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, I also spoke to the former Chief Constable of Greater Manchester Police, Peter Clyde, and I began by asking him whether he's shocked by the figures.
Not really shocked, but certainly disturbed by obviously the level of the number of police searches, but also what it tells us about the number of young people that have been drawn into violence and into being vulnerable through drug gangs. So I think what these figures reflect, not only obviously police tactics, but the fact we have a failed drug policy, we have real problems with youth violence. Black young people sadly disproportionately feature in some of that violence.
Well, that's a very interesting spin, but the numbers don't tell us that at all. They don't tell us anything about the drug trade or violence. What they tell us about is the number of children who are being abused by police officers.
I don't agree. I think it shows that the police have put a lot of concentration, quite rightly, into trying to reduce the number of young people, particularly in London, who've been victims of night violence, and the number of young people that have been drawn into the county lines phenomena, where organised crime gangs are using young people as couriers. And therefore, we could change some of the rules, we could raise the age of criminal responsibility, but that wouldn't remove the responsibility of the police and other agencies to try and safeguard these young people. So
there are no figures in this data that shows that these young people are involved in any of the stuff that you're talking about.
No, but we do know, Krishna, that is what's happening. We do know that quite rightly there's been a lot of pressure on the police, including from people like the Children's Commissioner, them to take far, stronger line on reducing the number of young people that are murdered, and a lot of concern about the drugs trade.
I think a lot of people find that breathtaking, because really 1 in 4 of these cases were carried out without a responsible adult, the parents, present. What that tells you is not that 1 or 2 cases are worrying. It tells you that a huge number of children are being illegally searched by police officers in a very abusive environment. And an environment that the Children's Commissioner says is always traumatizing for all people who are subjected to this. Isn't that the first thing that we should be thinking about here? That this is police officers traumatizing children.
I absolutely accept that any stop search, and particularly strip search, particularly for a young person, is very traumatizing. Why we should do everything we can, absolutely, to reduce those numbers. And I would agree that sometimes the rules about an appropriate adult have not been followed, and particularly more effort should be made to contact parents. But the fact is, I think most police officers feel that if you curtail their powers in doing this, it just means that more young people will be used by some of the criminal gangs, because they will believe that if I use a young person to carry a knife or drugs and use them as couriers, then they'll be able to get away with it, and I'll be able to continue my criminal activities.
You keep talking about violence and knives. The only case we actually know about is a girl who was suspected of having cannabis at school. Now, there are no circumstances in that case where she should have been strip searched, are there?
No, I totally agree with that. And the review. Well, I totally agree with that, and I think that's an example of a school calling in the police inappropriately, and I don't think any school should call in the police for things like possession of small amounts of cannabis.
Isn't the problem, as you highlight, that there are circumstances where even if a parent or carer isn't present, the police can say that they were legally carrying out a search, and the Metropolitan Police have talked about changing the situation so that they have to get a senior officer's say so to go ahead. And what this does is leave parents in a situation where they have virtually no recourse, do they? Their child may have been traumatized by a search that shouldn't have gone ahead. That feels very much like them, like sexual abuse. And there's nothing they can do because the police are telling them all this.
Well, if people of the public believe that it shouldn't be legal, then clearly the law will need to be changed. But the police themselves would say that would leave children even more vulnerable. I would agree that sometimes, the police use appropriate adults. I'm sure they're very caring professionals, but perhaps more efforts could be found that could be made to find the parents and make sure they're present.
We often talk to you about these sorts of issues, and it always comes back to resource. In the current climate, with the government talking about resourcing the way it is, what chance do you think that criminal justice and policing is going to get anywhere near the resources it actually needs?
I don't think necessarily so we need more resources for policing. We do need more effort to use charities, more funding for them, and a recognition that when a child's upbringing fails, when a child ends up in the criminal justice system, ends up in custody, ends up in the care of the local authority, that is a huge expense to the system. And if we can move some of that money earlier into their child, identifying children who are vulnerable at a far earlier stage, and put the money there, that would save us a huge amount of money later down the system.
It's fine. Thank you very much.
Newstoter, but hey, yo, that white guy. See, it's white folks like that was the news journalist was interviewing. It's people like that that are in charge of us, y'all. Real shit. This is a problem. We gotta really start stepping it up and getting into the school system, yo. You know, I'm not a teacher, but I like to teach shit. You know what I'm saying? But I might have to go get my teaching degree now just to keep white folks like that out of black kids' faces. And I've been ostracized by a white man like that during my school years, yo. And that has to surround doing what I'm doing with this entertainment shit. Where I had a job with the school, and they wanted to let the white teacher let me go because I couldn't get the ink off the background screen. I've been doing new news work since 6th grade, y'all. You know what I'm saying? This shit ain't nothing new to me. You know what I mean? And I've been in a situation like that before, dealing with these white teachers, y'all. But go ahead, Newstoter. That's illmatic, man.
You know what's so crazy? You know what's so crazy about it, bro? Is that we just showed you two sides. We showed you here in Milwaukee. Then we go ahead and we show you over what's going on in Great Britain. Okay, Milwaukee claims, and they charge 74. First off, the amount of money they gave those black boys, it was 74 of them, and they had to split $5 million as chump change, as peanuts. Because if that had been 74 white boys that got that same treatment from the cops, you'd have been talking about a $300-400 million lawsuit that they would have been splitting up together. So the money that they gave them, first off, was chump change. Secondly, if it was 74, and even when they were saying it was 600 and something over there in Great Britain or whatever, I think they say 58% of in Great Britain were black. Just my guess, my estimate, I probably say 70-some% of them was at least black, because we know how they skew the actual numbers down and stuff when it's not looking favorably on them, and it's something that about black people, they'll go ahead and they'll skew those numbers down. So it's probably 70-some-odd% of the people that was actually over there getting illegal search and seizures and getting the strip search and everything else were black people. They can sit up here and say 58% of it, but that goes to show you the global white supremacy is just that, global white supremacy. We can't sit up here and ignore this right here. And like I said, you got a bunch of sisters too, because I don't want to leave them out too. You got a bunch of sisters also getting groped out here by the police as well. It's not just a black man. They know we're doing it with the black men, that the black men are less likely to say something because that's an ego, that's a pride thing. No black man wants to sit up here and say, hey, you know, they don't want to tell anybody like, yeah, you know what, this officer was just jerking me around and stuff like that. And you know, nobody wants to go ahead and say that. A woman's more likely to come out and say, hey, this officer was touching me a certain way, this and that. But most brothers are going to be like, hey, you know, I ain't like the way he was handling me or this and that. They don't want to get too personal, too in depth about it. So we have to also take that into account too. And like you said, the ages, you talk about 10-year-old. What the hell what are we talking about? I mean, unless a 10-year-old has a Uzi hiding it on him or somewhere, there's no reason why you should be strip searching no goddamn 10-year-old kid. Period. What are we even talking about right here? One love. Go ahead, and then we're gonna touch up too, y'all. So we're gonna kick it around. We want to get this out here, but we also want to talk about this in Texas. Only in Texas can you find this type of trash here. So we want to also get on this topic about Texas. We want to go ahead and be able to cover every topic. Everybody can go back and forth. It doesn't matter. Here in the space, we just go ahead and we put the topics out. If you want to go back and go to a certain topic, you're more than welcome. So far, we covered the strip search here. We've covered the pregnant mother that was shot in the head. Thank God that this woman's okay, and her family and kids and everything else. We're going to also talk about this white Texas teacher who finally got suspended for basically telling his class, his black class, his black students, that his race is superior. So go ahead, One Love.
Thank you, DJ and Newstoter. Hey, Ray and Professor and Original, Miss Rella. Yes,
Rella, I gotta get used to your profile, because I'm like is that I just forgot, but I haven't.
So this is my backup page. I haven't gone and checked to see if my suspension, has been over, but I'm really over. I'm getting over Twitter. Like, seriously,
I'm suspended too, love. I'm suspended for 6 days. I can't tweet nothing out. So in case y'all miss it, y'all know Newstoter like a machine. We putting the content out there. I've been suspended for 6 days and stuff. So the only thing I can do right now is do spaces and DM people. So I feel your pain. This is the second time this year I've been suspended. So I feel your pain.
Actually, you know what? I haven't not been suspended ever on Twitter, but I think it has something to do with the change.org trying to, and getting it signed because it's been getting a lot of support. I think that that's another reason people are sharing it, as well as the fact that I did tweet out and call Shannon Sharp a good Negro in quotations, but it was not derogatory or hateful. And I did mention, you know, the Ashkenazis and the Sephardic Jews, but also the Black Jewish community, and not in a negative way. And so, you know, we are being censored, and that's a whole other topic. And I just wanted to go back to the woman, the pregnant woman who was shot in the head. I'm definitely praying for her and her family, not just because of that. Homelessness is real. Battling homelessness is real. There's two components that are happening. They are crippling us as we get closer to the date of our community running out of money to actually circulate to be able to even help ourselves. And so what you're seeing is not just the homelessness of a whole entire family, but mothers and fathers are being, Black American mothers or fathers are being ousted out of the working class and not even able to actually provide substantially to have a home. Credit is hurting them. Not just that, the resources in the communities are hurting them. There's no reason why an entire family should be out in the street in their car when they are giving housing, shelter, hotel rooms. A whole entire building was actually deconstructed and turned into almost like an apartment for immigrants. And so when you see things like that, we are really being targeted. They're displacing Black families out of shelters, individuals as well as families out of shelters to bring in and usher in immigration in sanctuary cities. That is a problem. The topic of the young boys, people in general, I mean, but this situation with the young boys being literally, you know, molested, sexually assaulted, it really hurts my heart because it's the breaking, right? So the first breaking is the the indoctrination, and then the second breaking is the physical body. So the mind, and then now the physical body, and 50% of the boys in the UK, and then you have, we don't even know what the numbers are right now in Milwaukee, but that's hard to swallow. Those are eventually going to be young.
74 in Milwaukee. 74 in Milwaukee.
That's a lot. So I'm saying that's hard to swallow because these are eventually going to be young boys who grow up to be men, who are going to have this particular trauma, and it's going to display onto the community. And most of us probably won't know why unless you put two and two together and you're in that particular line of work. So to see that and to hear that and listen to them actually tell their stories, I'm happy that they're telling their stories, but we also need to make sure that we are encouraging them and helping them fight to make sure they get the justice that they deserve, because these are devils. And when you look at like you said, Newstoter, the correlation between the groups of people who are committing these types of acts, they always seem to be of the clear community. And the Pilgrims seem to really, really run the show. And we have to get into the positions where we are actually dominating school board meetings, going on school boards and running for office. We have to displace them. We are being out-organized, and they are killing us, raping us, and destroying the minds of our children. Even our grown men and women in the streets, just leaving your house. Hell, being in your house. So, yeah, that's a hard one. That's a hard one.
Yeah, it was pretty it's pretty hard to actually hear and stuff like that. Just between the mother and then hearing this story here too, and seeing that it's not only just here in America, but it's across the ocean as well, to the Atlantic Ocean, 5,000 miles away, and you got some of the same stuff going on in the UK. And we know Black people over there get treated like trash as well too. So like I say, this is all just part of the global supremacy and stuff like that. Very, very heartbreaking. And like I say, the actual settlement was peanuts. To sit up here and talk, you're gonna give $5 million for 74 guys to go ahead and split up is just it's just a complete insult right there. They didn't even say $50 million. They talking about $5 million. I mean, what are we talking about?
Right, and then he was trying to criminalize them too. You noticed, you heard that he was trying to make those children into criminals, and the guy was like, "Yeah, but that none of those children committed any crimes."
Okay,
so,
brother, that was the over in the UK for the
over in the UK,
and that's why I'm saying this white guy. I don't heard white folks like him talk before. We got to get our kids up out of the fucking European school system. And Tyler, for the record, the breakdown of that $5 million for 74 people is exactly $67,567, yo.
Yeah, like we say, chump change. But like,
but don't forget about the lawyer fees.
Oh,
so that right here is like 20, 30.
Yeah.
And the taxes, that's like 20, 30.
Chump change.
You wind up with 20 grand. You wind up with 20 grand, yeah.
And that's why I say, had that been 74 white boys that happened to, and the police department was found complicit in that, it wouldn't have been no $5 million. It would have been $50 million to $100 million at the very least. It would have been, if not $100 million on up. So that goes to show you the value. And we are talking about Milwaukee too. Let's not forget, well, this is the home of Jeffrey Dahmer. So let's not forget the value that they put on black men's lives up there in that area as well too. So that's not exactly shocking or surprising whatsoever. So we exactly know how they feel about black men. Okay. They set up there, and while Jeffrey Dahmer was just killing black men left and right and stuff like that, they had like they didn't know what the hell was going on. They knew what was going on. It's just that they didn't care what was going on. So that's not even shocking or surprising in the least bit. That say what we want to about Ben Crump. Somebody like Ben Crump might have been able to get a little bit more money for that family, for those guys and stuff like that too. So, you know, that just to me that 74, and like you said, once you break it down, the lawyer gets his cut. Then you got state taxes, and you got this tax and that tax, or this and that. So if they walked away with $15,000 a piece or $20,000, they probably was doing pretty good. That was just that's ridiculous, man. I want to go ahead and cover this other story. We want to talk about the white Texas teacher. Like I say, everybody, you guys want to go ahead and get back on it, blow back. That's more than fine. I just want to go ahead and put the actual topics out there in the room so everybody can go ahead and pick and choose which one they want to talk about, if they want to speak tonight, anything like that. So this was published by the Atlanta Black Star on the Newstoter.com platform. Unfortunately, I couldn't put it in the Jumbotron, but it is what it is. It says, white Texas teacher suspended after telling middle school students his race is superior, sparks alternative conversation among adults. A Texas teacher is on administrative leave after he was recorded by his students sharing his racial ideologies in the classroom. In the video, now viral on social media, a white male teacher in Texas told students he believes his race is a superior one. One video of the interaction has garnered more than 2.5 million views on Twitter. The school district has slammed the conversation as inappropriate, and it has unnerved some parents and left others angry. It also spurred a debate on social media on the complexity of discussing race in the classroom on social media. The school district has not identified the teacher or released the full scope of the conversation. Deep down in my heart, I'm ethnocentric, which means I think my race is the superior one, the teacher says in a 57-second video. Some students in the class respond with laughter. So white is better than all, asked the students, who seem to be holding the cell phone that's recording the interaction. Let me finish, the teacher replies. I think everybody thinks that. They're just not honest about it. I'm not racist, though. I like all types of kinds, one black student responds. So you said you are what? You are racist, another student asked. I think everybody is racist at that level, the teacher replied. DJ, we got somebody trying. I think Ray may have add Ray back as a speaker. I think I added him back on. I actually let me see where I left off at. The student then asked the teacher to repeat himself, but the teacher says he has said it enough. I actually respected you for a while, but like now, I got no more respect for you, the first black student said. The boy's mother, later identified on social media as Mello, Atlanta Black Star has reached out to the mother, Janae Hardy, for comment. Hardy did not immediately respond to requests for comment, but she said she's going to ensure that someone was held accountable. I'm not letting this slide at all. And the bad thing is the school still hasn't contacted her, she wrote. But the news got the info first. Independent School District Superintendent Dr. Douglas Kylan said the interaction does not align with the district's core belief. The video of the conversation includes statements that we find wholly inappropriate, he said in a statement. ISD and Bowles MS work together to create inclusive and welcoming environment for our students. The advisory activity was inappropriate, inaccurate, and unacceptable. This type of interaction will not be tolerated at schools, it continued. Brian Hennington, who has a child who attends the middle school, said the conversation was in poor taste. There were other personal experiences we had as people of color that we had individually, but to see this in a classroom setting is not acceptable, Hanning told KVUE TV. However, commentators on social media pointed out, though, that even though the discussion was inappropriate for a middle school class, the teacher remarks were grounded in some facts. Cambridge Dictionary says ethnocentric is believing that one's customs and traditions of your own race or nationality are better than those of other races. Webster defines ethnocentrism as an attitude that one's own group, ethnicity, or nationality is superior to others. The teacher's remarks weren't right, but this is reality, one Instagram user wrote. The conversation was better had in a university setting in a debate class, she added. Because we all believe our specific kind to be superior, the user also said. Twitter user King Supreme M wrote, I know what he's getting at, and he's right. Deep down, we all think our specific race is better. People might not want to admit it. He didn't say he didn't like other races. Also, this is not a conversation he should be having with those kids. While race is a social construct, social scientists say that ethnocentrism can develop when one group judges another's culture based on their cultural ideas. It occurs when someone believes that culturally specific practices are natural or right. However, social scientists argue the concept differs from racism, which is prejudice based on preconceptions formed from negative stereotypes. There is a positive side of ethnocentrism, some argue. Cultural anthropology Sheila S. Walker said that affirming her ethnocentrism is a way to acknowledge her beingness as an African American. She expected others to do also. I take anyone's failure to do so as an attempt to deny my person, my heritage, my culture. Whereas I share in generalized U.S. culture, the version of it is most intimately mine. In a society in which people of African and European ancestry have had radically different historical and present experiences, specifically African American, Walker wrote in an essay republished in the Journal of Association of Black Anthropologists. Walker still points out that there are conflicting views about the line between ethnocentrism and racism, what is needed to progress from a position in which ethnocentrism, the awareness of ethnic and cultural differences, and the conscious appreciation of one's own ethnic characteristics is also, in fact, racist. This is twofold and complementary process. First of all, the basic fact needs to be acknowledged that no culture is inherently superior to another, she wrote. Professor, I see you got your hand up. So go ahead and unmute your mic. Excuse me, y'all.
Yeah, thank you again, Newstoter. And Sister Rilla, I like that name right there though. I like that. Hey, maybe you should keep that one, man. Keep that one.
Sisterella is definitely a real name, and it's never going nowhere. Shout out to my uncle, God rest his soul. He's the one that named me, so that's definitely not going anywhere.
Oh yeah, then you know what? That's definitely special. You're right about that, definitely. But getting back to the topic of this teacher in Texas, I think they had an update on him that he actually been fired. I saw that had been tweeted out there earlier that he had actually been fired. I'm trying to see if I can get some more verification on that, but I know I've been seeing people kind of posting that he actually has been removed or fired.
Well, he should have been fired. Like you said, what kind of discussion is that for like middle school kids and stuff like that? If you feel that way, that would have been a better setting at actual college in a debate team or something like that. If you feel that way, and of course we know most of them do feel that way, but to sit up here and tell the middle school kids that and not give a damn that he was actually being recorded as well too shows you the kind of the kind of attitude that he had about the actual issue of race and stuff like that. So we pretty much know exactly how they feel about race and stuff like that. So that to me that wasn't shocking in the least bit. The fact that he went up there and he was unapologetic and he just said it and he just spoke from the heart. Basically, he was like, yeah. I mean, he doesn't consider himself racist. A lot of people don't. He's just, hey, my race is better than yours. So, like I said, to say that to actual middle school kids and stuff like that, you know, that was a bit shocking. I believe, Professor, you may be right. I'm not sure, but I believe because that article is from a couple of days ago. But I believe that he may have been suspended. Don't hold me to that. I'm not entirely sure. But if somebody can find out if he's not suspended but actually fired, then go ahead and let me know as well too.
Well, what I did, Newstoter, I went ahead and put one of the tweets up there where somebody just did this about 30 minutes ago. It's under the name of Ricky DeVilla. See what he had tweeted it out about the the middle school teacher in Texas and another history teacher out there in California that made a statement in reference to Trump. I believe supposedly both teachers have been fired.
Well, yeah, like I said, he definitely he definitely deserved to be fired. I mean, it was just ridiculous. And like I said, you're talking to middle school kids. You're not on a debate team. This is not even high school, the debate team. You're sitting up here talking to middle school kids, and you're sitting up here telling them basically you're the teacher. So, and you know what I'm saying. What do you think they're gonna think? They're hearing that the teacher say, "Oh yeah, well my race is definitely better. I'm your instructor. I'm your educator." So yeah, guess what, kids? I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be surprised if the principal at the school was white too. So you hearing authority figures telling you basically like, yeah, we are the superior race than y'all. So go ahead and get used to that, kids. DJ, go ahead, bro.
Hey, check a little bit of the audio out right here. Hopefully it's clear. Excuse me. One second.
My race is superior.
White is better than all.
Let me think. I think everybody thinks that, they're just not honest.
Hey, I'm not racist. I like all types of
Did I say it honesty?
Wait,
So you say you are what? You are a racist?
You're like,
You're racist? Everybody's a racist at that level. No, she said you are racist. It's got to be honest. No, I'm not saying it's not. I'm saying it's not.
so you're racist. Yes,
It's funny.
I just want to respect you for a while. Like, I'm down or not? I think I don't respect you.
Yeah, dude, I don't think I got respect for him no more, bro. You should have more respect.
In Pflugerville, Texas,
All right, yeah, so you heard it right there. So I'll just say a lot of us actually get the definition of racist confused. It don't mean prejudice.
I mean, really. And this joker, he's sitting up here trying to tell these kids that first off, you're the one, your people, the one that came up with this entire construct of race. So to sit up here and say that, and that's another thing that when they want to go ahead and shift the blame, they want to start talking about, well, black people are just as racist as white people and this and that. Like, no, I don't think so, buddy. Black people can't keep y'all from doing anything that you want to do in this country. We don't feed you. We don't house you. We don't provide insurance for you. We don't. If we don't control the power grid, we don't control anything in this country. There's no way that the government, anything, there's no way that we can be racist to you whatsoever. So you're trying to go ahead and play and put that in these kids' mind right now that, well, really, everybody's racist. It's not just white people. Your people are just as racist as our people. And if we all came, I don't think so, buddy. The racism, if we want racism to end, white people and white America has to be the one to go ahead and take that step and end it, because we've done more than our job. We've done everything we could in this country to end racism, and it's stronger now than it ever was. So if it's really going to end, it's going to be on your end, white folks. Y'all are the ones that's going to have to go ahead and call the dogs off, because you're the one that came up with this whole construct of race. Okay, everything else was more based on tribe and religion and culture and nationality. You put race into the whole factor for the past 500-600 years. So it's not us. We didn't come up with race. We don't determine anything like that whatsoever. We can't be racist to any other group in this country. We can't be racist to the Asians, Latinos, or anything because we don't control anything. We can't punish anybody. Racism is a construct that white folks have, and only when white folks decide that we want to get rid of racism in America and the rest of the world will racism begin to disappear. Don't put this on us and stop telling those kids that nonsense.
Hey, Newstoter. It's up there in the jumbotron, man. Yeah, it was reported by CNN that he had been fired.
Okay, like I say, good, because this dumbass don't need to be teaching them kids anyways. Like, they'll sit up here and they'll be going home and they'll be talking about, "Mommy, did you know that black folks can be just as racist as white folks," and all this other dumb stuff that liberals and conservatives as well too. Let's put the conservatives, because they sit up here and they'll tell you, a conservative will be quick to tell you that the most racist person in the world is a black person. They'll sit up here and tell you that the person who has been picked on the most and who suffers the most racism at the hands of racism in this country is white men. They'll sit up there and they'll sit right up here and they'll tell you that nonsense, because I've heard them say that stupid stuff before, that it's really white men who really the ones that suffer the most from racism in this country. That's how dangerous this thing can really get here. Let me kick it to Matrix, and then we're going to kick it back to you, Bree.
Hey, everybody. Isn't that like CRT, but the parts that they don't mind teaching us, but they don't want it, or teaching the children that they work on in like college? Isn't that just like the same thing, but that they don't want to teach, and he's sitting up there basically teaching it?
I think CRT, I think, is just a fancy word or just another phrase for American history, whatever. What he's basically saying is that everybody, from what I'm understanding, he's basically saying that he believes that his race is superior and that everybody's racist, and that, there's nothing wrong basically with being a racist. That, to me, that's the understanding. CRT is that they don't want to teach kids about black people being slaves in this country. They don't want to talk about Jim Crow. They don't want to talk about all of the things that this country that supposedly made it great or whatnot. They really want to go ahead and try to paint it up that, really black people weren't really slaves. They were indentured servants, or they were helpers, or they were workers, or, slavery wasn't all that bad. They used to sit around a campfire and roast marshmallows and sing the old Negro spirituals and stuff like that. So they want to go ahead and try to whitewash history. That's what I get with the critical race theory. So to me, this guy just basically letting you know, right? He's telling you like, hey, I'm superior. He's telling a bunch of 12, 13, 14, I'm superior. My race is superior. So to me personally, I don't really perceive it as the critical race theory, because critical race theory is simply just talking about actual American history. That a lot of these white folks now feel like their white kids are too sensitive to hear, that it's going to make their ears bleed or something.
White kids are too sensitive to hear it, but black kids aren't, because that's exactly what he did to that child.
Oh, and I'm in agreement. And not only that, but let's be honest, some of these white kids, these white parents as well too, these teachers and stuff, they grew up, and even though they had a small section in American history, they talked about racism, they know exactly the history behind this country. They know that black people were slaves, so it's okay for them to learn it, but God forbid their kids hear about actual American history. So even when it was whitewashed, when they were coming up and stuff, they still got a little bit of it. They still had an understanding that, hey, yeah, black people were slaves in this country, but your kids are too good to hear that. But you're right. Yeah, he's sitting up and he's telling these kids something wholly, totally different and whatnot. He's telling, and it's one thing he said, everybody has bias in them. Okay, I can understand you saying that everybody has somewhat of a bias in them, but everybody's not racist, man. Like, straight up.
So, and this is the part where we really have to really get an understanding of everything that is said, because words have meaning. So he said that he is ethnocentric. Did you guys catch that?
Yes.
He said I'm ethnocentric. Ethnocentric. Now I want to read the definition. I actually just tweeted it, but I want to read the definition so that we're all understanding that this is how they kind of actually try to justify them practicing supremacy, degradation, and hatred to try to color it with words. So let me get this real fast. So I want y'all to hear the definition. Okay, the definition is evaluating other peoples and cultures according to the standards of one's own culture. So if he's stating that he's evaluating our culture or other people, the children in that classroom, it seemed like it was majority black boys and other, I think it was one Latino boy and some, I don't know if there was a white boy in there, but he's stating that. But he's only engaging with the young black boys as he's engaging and talking to them. Right. And so, in that, at the same time, he's also making a point to say that my race is somehow superior because culturally he deems it so by way of whatever, right? But if we look at history and we look at facts and see, this is the problem that I have with Glenn Youngkin. And Glenn Youngkin out here in Virginia is trying to do the same thing, but under the guise of legislation to say, hey, I want to change the history books. We need to retell the story. We need to retell how history is told, and we need to focus on Greece and Europe. Why? Because, again, it's an erasure. It's an erasure tactic that supremacists use. And the other thing was critical race theory. And I really want people to get a real understanding of critical race theory. It's a theory. It is a theory that can be applied to anything having to do with race interactions and concepts. So I'm going to read it. It's an intellectual and social movement and loosely organized framework of legal analysis based on the premise that race is not a neutral, biologically grounded feature of physically distinct subgroups of human beings, but a socially constructed, culturally indented category that is used to oppress and exploit people of color. Now, people of color, hate is a strong word. I do not like that term, but in the context and to respect Dr. Bell and the team that actually put together critical race theory, they were talking about, from a legal standpoint, how in law, pretty much based on whomever the ethnocentrics are, and they want to apply their theories of race in law, they can utilize their cultural prejudices, and then they can make things hard for people of color or Black Americans, whomever, based on what they perceive. And so to me, all I'm saying is that you can apply it to history and how things were done throughout history, because psychologically the people who were doing those things seem to be the same people all across the world in the United States, and they keep repeating the same behaviors. The problem is we're not calling those things out. So I'm heavily involved in my community. I will be going up against and protesting against Glenn Youngkin and in this whole thing that he's got going on. And my thing is to argue with them back, is to say, you want to talk about critical race theory, then let's talk about it. But you can't talk about it in a sense of trying to speak about history. You need to bring in their history. You need to bring up the things that they have done and apply that theory and say, well, this is what your ethnocentric culture is about. This is what you have produced. There has been nothing but devastation. Every time they talk about colonization, devastation. And you can bring up all those points and you can reference all those things, and that's how you hit them in the gut, because they always seem to want to try. And when I say they, Europeans, especially Americans, who try to think that they are someone else and want to call everybody else immigrants, the white Europeans in America, they are immigrants. They are descendants of immigrants. So they want to rewrite history to say, well, everybody else is an immigrant, but they're not. They are actually immigrants. And we need to start calling their BS out and everything else that they do and hit them where it hurts. Because they keep running around here trying to destroy the mental stability of our children and of us. Getting everybody all effed up in the brain all over the place because we're not hitting them where it hurt. Economically and mentally. It's time to fight back, people. Period.
I definitely agree with you. You won't get any argument from me on that. Let me go ahead and kick it to Black Pressure. Black Pressure, what's going on?
What's up, Black family? What's up, News, DJ? Right, what's going on?
What's going on?
Hey, if you would allow me, News, just very briefly, if you would allow me, I want to move the goalpost just a tad bit, and I promise I won't be long.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
If you allow.
Go ahead, you got it.
So, when we say race is a social construct, that is somewhat true, and it's also somewhat misinformation. And I'll say this. Race is a social construct if you apply it to Western culture. And when I say Western culture, the world we live in today, yes, race, it was made a social construct. But, and I just, disclaimer, I am not into Egyptology. I'm not into Egyptology like the 10-4 Kufi shit. I'm not into Egyptology like that. But I will tell you this, that the word race, of course, English word, but that word has always existed and has always been debated amongst people. Now, if you go back to our ancient ancestors in the mother continent, they didn't use race. That word was not in their vernacular. Like I say, it's English word. It's kind of newer to our vernacular. But when they discuss race, and like I say, during, with our ancient ancestors, the words they used was like nation, bloodline, and descendant. That was what the words they would apply. We would apply to, race back then. So if you go and study like Herodotus and a lot of his writings and his philosophies, like he's a real prestigious Greek historian and philosopher. It was always, a hotly debated issue. They would debate, where did the people of the Nile Valley descend from, and what was their bloodline? He wrote a lot discussing that. And the reason I say that race is not so much a social construct, if you read a lot of his writings, they pointed out, like the ancient Kemites, the ancient Nubians, those people around the Nile Valley River. He pointed out these people, he was Greek. These people did not descend from the same bloodline of people we did. He would point out their physical prowess. He would point out the texture of their hair. Of course, the color of their skin, their endurance. He spent a lot of time around them learning. He pointed all this stuff out. They made it clear the Nile Valley people are not the same as the Libyans. The Nile Valley people didn't come from the same bloodline or didn't come from the same nation as the Spartans. So when I, like I said, I'm not going to be long and get all long and drawn out, but race has always been discussed and it's always been an issue. But the people that say race is a social construct, that's partly true if you apply it to Western culture today. But it's always existed as a discussion. It always has been an issue where people pointed out there are different races of people. They just didn't use that vernacular in the ancient times. And I'll land my plane there.
All right, I appreciate that. Definitely. And let me go ahead and give a shout out to Michelle. Thank you for your contribution on Cash App. And I'm being honest here, guys. I'm seriously thinking about it because, like, I just read that. I was reading some of that article while Black Pressure was talking, and I'm seriously thinking about actually changing the title of this room as well too, and addressing this program that in San Francisco they talk about giving a guaranteed income to the actual trans out there. So I mean, I just. I don't know, man. I mean, DJ, go ahead and kick it for a minute, man. I may have to go ahead and we may have to go ahead and cover this real quick here as well too tonight, because this is pretty deep right here.
Yeah, that's crazy right there, and I wouldn't be surprised. You know, California is that's where the deep state is at.
hey, man, I bet your T.S. Giselle be happy. That's for sure.
Yeah, you already know. That nigga hop, skip, and jump to California. You know what I mean?
No, that's right.
But real talk. You know, Black Pressure and Sister Brother, they took my talking points, so I gotta mute my mic for the rest of the night. But yeah, the definition of racist also means one who cares and sticks up for their race. So I always say is maybe that white man is right and black people ain't racist enough. You know what I'm saying? Because we definitely can't be racist to any other race, meaning a group of, you know, racist also constructs from the word race, meaning a group of people, like you said, Black Pressure. So we ain't oppressing nobody. We ain't telling the Jews, hey, yo, every time y'all say nigga and call us monkey, you got to pay $1 million to every black person on the planet. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, you're going to get suspended from work from your own businesses for 5 days. You know what I'm saying? Going to have to come in and talk to, go talk to Pastor Bishop Swan or whatever. You're going to have to come to his church. You know what I'm saying? And talk to him. You know what I'm saying? Or what it means to be not to be anti-black. You know what I mean? So we need to start being more racist, in my opinion, and start getting shit done. Because at the end of the day, this going to continue to happen. So, you know, when you talk about a play on words, we need to start really getting into these dictionaries. And I don't mean Google. I mean, go get your library card and go dig into them old Webster's Meridian dictionaries where you will see that the word prejudice is older than the word racist. Remember, it got an ist on the end. You know what I'm saying? Or an ism at the end. Or an ed at the end. You know what I mean? That means something that was added to it later. You know what I mean? So go find the original meaning. So our folks, you know, ancestors, elders was calling these folks prejudice. So they turned around and flipped the word racist. So to talk about the construct of the CRT, that ain't nothing but some black, you know, some American history. But, you know, why put a name on it? That's the problem, is getting everybody wild up why they don't want this shit taught in school. So for the record, this is why a lot of white folks like this white man when he talk about he ethnocentric. Well, damn, what the hell did you learn in school during Black History Month? You feel what I'm saying? Ask your white friends that. Ask your Asian friends that. Ask your you know, African friends that. Ask your motherfucking Hispanic or Latino friends that. Since y'all don't understand what the fuck niggas be talking about, what history reports did you do on what Black Americans doing Black History Month? You know,
real quick, y'all. Real quick before we go ahead, I want to go ahead and touch up on this article. Then you guys can come back. But real quick, I want to go ahead and touch up on this. I just changed the room title, but I gotta go ahead and cover this real quick. Tariq posted this earlier. He tweeted it out. It says San Francisco launches transgender guaranteed income program. Mayor London Breed announced the launch of a new guaranteed income program for San Francisco's trans community. The guaranteed income for trans people will provide low-income transgender San Franciscans, I guess that's what it is, with $1,200 each month for up to 18 months to help address financial insecurity within the trans communities, Breed revealed Wednesday. The pilot program is the first guaranteed income initiative to focus solely on trans people and will provide regular unconditional cash transfers to individuals or households who qualify according to the mayor's office. This differs from other social safety net practices by providing a steady, predictable stream of cash to recipients to spend as they see fit without limitation, so they can spend this however they want to. The gift program will provide eligible trans individuals with temporary income and a range of wraparound direct services such as gender-affirming medical and mental health care, as well as financial coaching, according to the mayor's office. So, wow, they're going to also get financial coaching as well. The city will accept applications from November 15th through December 15th. Our guaranteed income program allows us to help our residents when they need it most as part of our city's economic recovery and our commitment to creating a more just city for all. Bree said, we know that our trans communities experience much higher rates of poverty and discrimination, so this program will target support to lift individuals in this community up. GIFT is one of several programs the city is developing and implementing to support San Francisco residents and promote stability and recovery. In 2015, when a U.S. trans survey was last conducted, 33% of trans Californians were living in poverty compared to 12% of the people in the general population. Even with our rich history of trans advocacy, we see that the trans San Francisco community experienced poverty at exponentially high rates compared to the general populations, said Paul Kriegel, executive director of San Francisco Office of Transgender Initiatives. Lion Martin Community Health Services and the Transgender District are leading the program's design and implementation and support from the Mayor's Office of Housing and Community Development, the Office of Transgender Initiatives, and Treasury and Tax Collector. Let me say that again. The Office of Transgender Initiatives and Treasury and Tax Collector. While healthcare often focuses on downstream effects of marginalization, we know that changing the material realities of trans communities are significantly impact their health for better. Indeed, for trans people, it is a life or death situation, said J.M. Jeff, executive director of Lion Martin Community Health Services. The GIFT program is San Francisco's third guaranteed income. It follows the Abundant Birth Project and the Guaranteed Income Pilot for Artists. So I just wanted to touch up on that real quick, y'all. I just wanted to touch up on that real quick. Anybody that wants to speak on that? Yeah, I just had to go ahead and touch up on that. I'm sorry.
I ain't even got nothing to say about it. But just for the record, Karen Bass is the mayor of LA now. She just won. They just announced it. So she beat Rick Caruso, or whatever Republican dude name was, the billionaire. So therefore, meaning I would hopefully he do some type of audit recount just to see. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't see how anybody in LA was wanting to mess with Karen Bass like that. She ain't doing nothing for nobody. Maxine Waters. So the Democrats, they already had this in the works. It's already on paper. They just needed to get their peoples in office and bang. So when you say the mayor's office, is this the current mayor, whoever that is, can't think of right now, or, obviously Karen Bass will be elected in mayorship when the year turns, but who's enacting this and what, you know what I mean? Versus all the folks that are on Skid Row, regardless of their sexual demographic, you're talking 60%. So once you just take that same bread and just, lottery it to people on Skid Row, you know what I'm saying? Or make reserves, 10% go to the trans, 10% go to this, or whatever, how you want to look at it like that, if you wanted to break it down by demographic. But just to say, hey, look, these people are suffering when you got a whole, all folks are suffering out in LA. You know what I mean? And no more so than our folks, because 60% of the homeless on Skid Row is Black American. Let's go.
So I want to say that this is the statistics in San Francisco. So while Black people in San Francisco only make up less than 6% of the city's population, they are 36% or more without homes. And so the thing that, I think that, again, the practice of white supremacy, the thing that it does best is that it likes to try to divide our group up into subgroups, which you're going to see me practice in CRT right now. Just pay attention. They like to divide. And when I say they, I'm talking about people who are actually in office who present bills and people who show up to county meetings and things like that to get these bills passed, organizations that are set up under 501c3s all the way up to 501c29. So when I tell you that 36% of the homeless population or more in San Francisco are Black Americans, and that part of that percent does cover Black trans, right? They want to break up Black LGBT. Now I'll put it that way. That somehow, because of your designator or what you identify as, right, as your whatever your pronouns, that somehow you are adjacent from your Blackness, and then now we don't need to focus on your Blackness and the poverty and trauma that you experience. We need to focus on your sexuality, and this is the problem. Not the problem, but this is a big bullseye for anyone, whether you are male or female in the American Freedmen community, that when you hear people displaying these actions of always wanting to focus on one particular thing, but not actually talking about us as a whole conglomerate collective. It is to break up certain things so that you don't get those resources. So I guarantee you, the LGBT that's Black in San Francisco, they're not going to get that money. They're going to find a way to say they ran out of money. Somehow they don't qualify. Something will happen. I'm not saying that there aren't issues in LGBTQ, but for what they lobby and what they are talking about that goes through Congress, the Senate, the local and state Senate for San Francisco and other states that actually push LGBTQ policies, the people who bring them up, they're not talking about a whole reparative legislation for the Black community, and they make sure that they do not even mention the population numbers of the LGBT that are Black that are ignored. If you're not going to give the people who are suffering the most, the oldest people in this country, reparative justice, then to me, that can't be legal. That to me is where is the Supreme Court in California? People challenging that and taking it up with the Supreme Court, because that can't be legal. How are you breaking up a group of people that make up the majority of the homelessness and say, oh, we're just going to pick out a particular thing about those people, the subgroups of issue, oh, LGBT, we're going to give them money. But you got homelessness across the board in our entire group. We have to address that.
Real talk. I mean, just go ahead and give the people that can barely make it out there, go ahead. If you're going to give them some money, but when you start, like I say, you start just going ahead and you're going to choose one specific group to go ahead and give the money to or whatever, that's when a lot of the issues going to really, really happen right there. Because
it's like driving it's like driving a highway through the Black community. How do you break the community up? How do you get the people to be broken up so they can't fight for themselves? You pick particular things and you say, I'm going to address this one thing and start putting, it's like the house and field Negro syndrome all the way around. When I say the theories of things that you need to apply this to, apply it to everything you hear, because these people are evil. They are doing this shit and thinking that we don't have the foresight, and you don't know how to use your third eye to see this stuff happening.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. Like, and this is when people talk about Gavin Newsom, and I know this is in San Francisco, so this is not, this is San Francisco. They're doing this. This isn't even LA or whatever. This isn't state initiative, whatever. But this is the issue that a lot of people have with San Francisco and stuff, because it doesn't take long before when your actual reparation movement, before they go ahead and start trying to water it down, even though give them credit that they went ahead and say that you have to be Black and a descendant of American slavery and stuff like that. You just kind of wonder when they was going to start throwing a monkey wrench into this kind of thing like this right here. I know this isn't, I know Tariq was speaking on it as being reparations and stuff. It's supposed to be a pilot program, guaranteed income and stuff like that. But, I have an issue with this right here, a real issue, because like I said, and not to start any gender war or anything like that. Let me give a shout out to T also. Thank you for your contribution on Cash App, but you're never going to see a program like this for low income Black men. Let's just be honest. You're never going to. In Chicago, I believe, or one of these other places, they had something for low income women and stuff, Black women. They were trying to say and stuff like that. But you're never going to see anything like this for men. Like, nobody's going to ever say, well, these brothers need help or this and that, because it's basically like, hey, you're a man, you got to pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. You can't get no handouts and this and that or whatever. So you'll never see this kind of stuff applied to help Black men. And there are a lot of Black men that's barely making it in this country, man. Let's be for real. If you out there in California, and not only that, the $1,800, what the hell is $1,800 a month? That's a nice little add-on, but $1,800 a month, you probably can't even in San Francisco at that.
That's not even a one bedroom.
I mean, really?
Is that a Airbnb or somebody's basement?
That's why it's a grift, y'all. It's a grift.
Yeah. So I mean, this is just
Let me say something real quick. So, when you say that 1,800 and Black majority, I don't know if you want to speak. I know you be riding, bro. So just come over here on the mic if you want to rap or whatever. But so speaking of that 1800, so I'll be trying to be on my business stuff as much as possible. So that could actually be just what they call it, pig marks, earmarks of money that was left behind by Bill Clinton or some shit like that. You know what I mean? That they have yet to spend that money and need to release it. So they need some type of program. You feel what I'm saying? That's all it is, to say, hey, look, we're giving this money to these people for whatever the reason is. So I actually talk about this in my video, how to make money off your talent. That, the government, they'll make up some program, right? Just to fuck up some money, like, we're about to open a school for 1-year-old ballerinas, only 1-year-olds. A 1-year-old could barely even walk. You feel what I'm saying? And then us, the people, Americans, quote unquote, got my fingers up, we don't even check this shit. You know what I'm saying? We don't even check behind these motherfuckers.
But here's a crazy thing though, DJ. Like I said, you could take the bottom half, or you could take the bottom 30% of the people out there in California, and you can go ahead and you can give this to them. You don't have to divide it up and say, well, we're gonna give this to transgenders, or we're gonna give this to the LGBTQ, or we're gonna give this to women. You can give it to everybody that falls in that category, and people at least, you're gonna have people that complain to, oh, why are you giving them this and that or whatever. But at least that would be somewhat fair. But now you're sitting up here, like you said, we got black people on Skid Row all throughout this nation. Tonight we was just talking about a black homeless couple living in a damn car that got shot up. Pregnant woman gets shot in the damn head while she's pregnant with 3 of her kids in the car. And we sitting up here, and like I say, Biden yesterday talking about sending $37 billion additionally to Ukraine, as if they don't have enough money. Then you're talking about the $600 million a year that they're going to be wasting in New York City to support migrants and stuff who came over here illegally. I mean, after a while, man, you just got to say, okay, when is enough enough? Black majority, good to see you up in the space, brother. Go ahead and unmute your mic, and we'll get to Professor and Black Pressure after that next. This is wild here. I'm sorry. I had to change the topic in the room. We had a nice topic, but when I think it was Professor, one of you guys brought that up. When I saw that, I was like, listen, let's go ahead and talk about this as well too. And if you're in the space, y'all, I'm on suspension. I'm in the Twitter jail. So please go ahead and tweet out the space. This is very interesting. We're gonna go to Black Pressure. Then we got a new speaker. We got the Only Male Crew. So we're gonna get to her as well too. So I'm sorry, not Black Pressure, Black Majority State. Go ahead, brother. How you doing tonight?
Hey, thanks for letting me speak. I'm sorry to hear you got that suspension. Man, that sucks, bro. Miss Rella, I love what she was saying. I definitely love what DJ just said. So I remember California did have this huge budget surplus. They were giving out money to tribes and other groups, and so it's likely that he was right on point with that. I just did a quick search. It looks like they're saying they're now facing a budget deficit. So for this governor who wants to try to put his hat in the ring to be president, if he destroyed, because it was supposed to be $100 billion surplus, now they're saying a $25 billion deficit in like a very short period of time. That is a bad mark on him to try to be an executive for a country. So I'm just listening. I came up because it kept kicking me out of the space, and the volume kept going in and out. So I just wanted to be able to listen. So I'm just hanging out. Shout out to Ray and everybody in the space, Professor. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, brother. And my voice is kind of going out a little bit as well, too, y'all. So excuse me if you hear me trying to clear my throat some. Let's go ahead and get to the Only Male Crews. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing? Thanks for letting me speak. Just real quick, I miss Rella and DJ. I miss y'all. So I know I need to come over on social to see you. Here's my thing. I just got in the room. So I don't know what was said and what hasn't been said, but all of these problems keep popping up for Black Americans, and all we seem to be able to do is lament the problem. And so I feel like we need to just say F it and just start filing lawsuits on these public entities. Because this is some bullshit that immigrants in Illinois are getting $500 a month, but you know damn well there's been a whole lot of Black Americans up in Chicago that you know $500 is a game changer. You know what I'm saying?
Hey Mel, you got immigrants in New York, the workers. They ask for $30. They ask for $30 an hour to do work. Like, come on, man.
I seen it. And the thing about it is, and then you got Ben Crump, who the only time you pull up Ben is on Twitter to say, "Oh, this is a travesty," and then you settling cases. But you're not being proactive, Ben, and getting in these people's actions about things like this, for example. So maybe we just need to, and clearly I don't see any young or new graduates of law school who are saying, okay, I'm this is my ministry. Let me go ahead and start getting this shit under control. So if we need to just file these lawsuits as citizens, then that's what we need to do. But this has to stop. This just has to stop. And I don't know what other solutions there are, but we need to hold somebody accountable. I'm so tired of this crap. Ooh, I'm landing my plane.
Thank you, sister. Definitely appreciate that. Let's go ahead and kick it to Professor and Black Pressure. DJ, I'm going to let you hold it down for 1 second for me, and I'll be right back.
For sure. Go ahead. Hey, before you go, Black Pressure, I just want to say, hey, Kyrie, you should get that $500,000 up to some Black American kids and pay for their law degrees and force them to go into this grassroots movement. So that way shit like this just don't ever happen. But go ahead, Black Pressure. Whoever wanted to talk, whoever.
No, it was Professor.
It was me first. But I was gonna say, fam, just gonna piggyback off of what Sister Mel Cruz said down there. As I listen to all these stories that continue to come out against us, we need another Johnny Cochran, because we got to start fighting back on all of these entities. And I don't know who is going to be our next Johnny Cochran, because it sure isn't Ben Crump. Not Ben Crump. I don't know what the hell Benjamin Crump doing, to be honest with you. But we need another person that's got a fiery soul, like Brother Johnny Cochran. Man, I miss that brother, I tell you. Because Johnny Cochran was on it, and as y'all remember, Johnny Cochran talked about reparations right before he passed. He was talking about that. Him and I think it was Professor Charles Ogletree from Georgetown. They were working on reparations before Johnny Cochran passed away. So we need another Johnny Cochran, everybody. I don't know who that is. Oh, I hope we can find him, because I don't think
Professor, I just want to tell you, you're a good man after my own heart. Well, I'm not a man, but I'm just saying, your heart. I just love your spirit. And at the end of the day, Johnny Cochran and Mary Casey Price was actually getting ready to put some people together, actually go after the United States. They were actually getting ready to sue. Yes, that is true. I think Dr. Claude Anderson was a part of that too. But I'm gonna look it up, because I saw something about that. I was reading it. Let me see if I can find it, and I'll put it in the Jumbotron.
Yes, please, Sister Rilla, because I'd love for everybody to go back and look at that, because Johnny Cochran was talking about this right before he passed away, y'all. This was big on his list of duties and list of things to do. This man was all about Black America. That's why everybody loved him. I mean, think about it. We talking about this man saved a lot of our people, Black celebrities, we know one in particular, okay? It had not been for Johnny Cochran, that goddamn OJ was going to be up in them bars, behind bars, you hear me, for a long time. And so we need another one like that. But Sister Willow is right. I think Dr. Claude Anderson was involved. I remember Johnny Cochran had mentioned Professor Charles Ogletree of Georgetown. That was Attorney Price. It was a group of them that were getting together to do this, y'all. And that's what I'm talking about. We need attorneys that's going to be about fight for our people. Somebody that's going to get in there and take it to these damn folks, man. These folks are getting out of hand with these immigrants. They trying to give everything to these motherfuckers. This transgender shit is getting on my nerves. Because I look, y'all, I was in a space
back here about 3 weeks ago. That was another transgender, and I'm not talking about that T.S. Giselle, because we know that's the most popular one on these spaces. But it's another one by the name of
Transgender professor, you disrespecting me. You ain't got no degree from the HBCU. I graduated from Howard. I'm reporting.
Hey, wait a minute now, hold on. Don't wait a minute now. She was up in here. Oh, I'm sorry. Shim was up in here. She would get mad at you.
That's the whole nigga right there.
She would get mad at you. Hey, look, I graduated from North Carolina A&T, Historical Black College.
Man, let me tell you something. That nigga ain't never seen no parts of a cop.
Well, but the main thing is that, because it's not like the lawyers who are presently licensed, like they don't see this shit going on. You understand what I mean? Like, what's our guy's name who was out there for? He ended up going to the White House, I think, on behalf of the George Floyd family. I can't remember his name, MC something. But so it's not like these attorneys don't see this going on. It just doesn't benefit them. And anytime you can have a guy, the dude that, I think his last name is Brooks, who ran some people down up in Wisconsin for the Christmas Day parade, and he messed around and defended himself. Now, I don't know if brother didn't have his medication or whatever, but he at least had the anatomy to stand up and defend himself. But as a group of people, we are simply just watching the fucking tide roll by.
Yes.
And we're not doing a damn thing. And it's unfortunate that Johnny Cochran passed away because, yes, absolutely correct. He probably would have hit a home run on that as well. But, sometimes shit happens to see what are we going to do. Yep. And I feel like, I took the push the line training that Tesla and Figueroa held. And there is a document inside that training that shows you how to organize your campaign. And I felt like, it would be awesome if we were able to, as a community, in a space, create a campaign and actually fill that form out on the Jumbotron and plan our next move. Because this is ridiculous. Now, how did all of this conversation go down in Cali? Shout out to Friday Jones about reparations and all these public talks and public this and public that, and then all of a sudden y'all just pop up with it's set in stone. Y'all about to do this guaranteed cash for transgenders, and I don't mean that. I'm not even trying to be prejudiced, racist, or anything. People are who they are. Be who you are. Be the best that you can be. That's all. It's just So no racism, none of that. But the fact of the matter is we laid the groundwork in those HR 40 and the other reparation conversations that y'all made us go through for years. But overnight, it seems, y'all just took our blueprint and boom, you're applying it specifically to a marginalized group. This is bullshit. So we have to stop. We just have to stop sitting around the fireplace and talking about it. We got to start taking some damn action because this is out of control.
Well, the Latinos did it against our black farmers, the Latino and white farmers. They did it against the black farmers when it was time for when the black farmers actually were trying to get their resources for during COVID. You had Latino and white farmers who decided that they were going to try to sue to actually say no, it was illegal for the government to try to pick a particular group to support and help with funding for black farmers. When black farmers make up less than 1%.
And black farmers was getting screwed over. Just not to cut you off, but black farmers was getting screwed over before you had any really significant portion of Hispanic farmers in this country as well too. White farmers are the last ones in the world that should be saying something because they get subsidized sometimes not to even grow things. They get paid not to even grow things. So For them to sit up here and start talking about black farmers and stuff like that is crazy. So that just goes back to like what we were saying. Just to let you guys know, of course, I'm back or whatever, but it's just crazy, man. Like that you can pick out certain groups and stuff like that and give them benefits and things of that nature. And you just constantly screw over another group of people. I don't have anything against transgenders because we have a certain amount of black people that's transgender. So, you know, if they're poor and they need money or whatever, fine. But a transgender who's poor shouldn't get $1,800, and a heterosexual who's poor should get zero. I mean, that makes no sense. I mean, not only, I mean, I just like I say, you'll never see these kind of programs, and especially when it comes to black men, they'll never do anything on earth to try to give a black man anything like that. I promise you they won't.
I was gonna say, Newstoter, I was in a space, man. I got to tell y'all about this because I got really mad in that space. I think somebody else was in that space. I think Ray might have been in that space. But it was a space being held by another transgender by the name of Crisis Management. This was one that I had never seen before because I know T.S. Giselle, but this was another one called herself Crisis Management. And she
now you in a crisis.
And she was in a crisis too. That's what I told her too. I said, you in a crisis because you confused as hell. But what made me say that is this crisis management person said that transgender people, black transgender people, should be compensated first before the heterosexual black people, because we are the actual marginalized group. And she said, once we get our reparations, then everything will be better because we the most marginalized group in the country, is what she said. And I said, now wait a minute now. So you're trying to separate yourself from your blackness. See, because the fact of the matter is you're black, but now you're trying to separate yourself. And now you're trying to say that y'all supposed to get reparations first because you feel like you are the most marginalized group in the nation. I'm like, no, it doesn't work like that. See, if you're going to be in with the blackness, you got to be all the way in with the blackness, with all of us. See? But no, like T.S. Giselle and some of these other ones, what pisses me off with this transgender stuff, they try to separate out. See? This is what I get upset about. See, and like Sister Mel said down there, we can't be prejudiced against our own people. Now, we know it's transgender people in our group. So it's not about whatever they confused about. It's about the fact that they trying to take over. They talking about they the lead. They need to lead, is what they say.
But you know, Professor, here's the thing. I would be very interested to know, once they start distributing this cash, how many black people are going to be at the bottom of the list.
Exactly.
Okay? And then when you pull the stats, how many white people, what's the number of white people transgender who receive the funds compared to the black people that are transgender that receive the funds? And then what kind of fraud is going on? And who's on the board that's going to make those decisions? And all of that.
Just real quick, the demographic of the physical black race is only 45,000 people out of like a little over 500,000 people.
Yeah, but they over 36% homeless. How is that possible?
Right. You understand what I'm saying? They're going to find a way to screw them over because they're black. They're black, so they're still going to find a way to further disenfranchise them. While they might be jumping up and down and clapping down, y'all still going to get screwed because the main element of equity and giving a damn about black Americans is what is missing. And so maybe we need to file an injunction and stop that whole process.
Yes, but then also the black LGBTQ community has to actually speak up too, because they know for a fact that supremacy practices happen in that community, and it comes down to resources as well. This is the problem when we start having these discussions, that we have to start actually acting and protecting ourselves, preserving our race and our culture and everything in it, and stop acting like we don't see these things. And that's why I don't engage with T.S. Giselle, because that to me is problematic. Because when you have people who want to try to buck the system to try to make it seem like there is a difference other than the fact that you choose to dress up every day and I don't have to, is a problem. But that's your issue. That's your business. I don't have to sit there and separate you from whatever your lineage is, because your lineage is based on your mother and father who birthed you, their grandparents, and so on and so on. And if you are connected to an ancestor somehow down in your family that was enslaved here in the United States, you are part of the collective. Stop trying to disassociate yourself because you're deciding to practice your life differently than other people, thinking that those folks are going to somehow embrace you in. They have not done it yet. That's why you see the black trans or LGBT running up and down the street talking about we need representation. We need representation. Well, why haven't you gotten it yet?
Amen.
Hold on, honey. Don't be disrespecting me. I went to a real HBCU. First of all, miss your mic, girl. Miss your mic. You went to community college. I got a real HBCU degree. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no, C.S. Jardell told me I wasn't a woman. And when
you ain't a real woman.
She told me I wasn't a real woman, and ain't nobody checking. I said, Lord, I could never say that to another woman. Like, I would never. That's something that would never come out of my mouth. That's not in me to say. But I can say it to you because you're not. But I don't disrespect people and whatever you choose to. But when you try to step across the line, I'm gonna put you back in your place.
Real quick, excuse me, real quick. Let me go ahead and get to. We got a couple new hands up in here. I'm gonna get to you, Black State, and I'm gonna get to you, Black Pressure. Let me hear what this is now. Volvo got to say. Volvo, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Oh yeah, what's up, my brother? I appreciate you letting me on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm on a new system.
No more janky phone. You upgraded?
No, I ain't no I was wondering what they saying that they about to pay transgenders for what?
Because they're transgenders, basically. Basically, because they're transgenders.
That's it. That's all they pay.
That's what Newstoter read the whole article. That ain't what it's.
Well, I mean, basically, they're saying that transgenders there, I guess 33% of them living in poverty and stuff like that. But I mean, I read the article. I mean,
yeah, I know, brother. I was doing other
stuff. No, I'm not getting on you or anything, but I'm just saying that basically, I mean, from what I take away, that basically they feel like transgenders are having a hard time in San Francisco, so they're gonna give them X amount of dollars. Like, I mean, basically because they're transgenders and they're having a hard time.
Just because of that.
Basically.
No government system set in place to stop them or none of that. They just giving them a hard. I mean, because when I seen you had a different room earlier, but.
Yeah, we covered a bunch of different topics earlier. We were talking about a pregnant woman being shot. We were talking about the strip searching of black males, and we were talking about the white supremacist teacher sitting up here telling the black kids that he was superior. I saw this on I think Professor or Ray, one of them notified us about this actually took place today. So I was like, let's go ahead. Or yesterday it actually took place. So I was like, let's go ahead and cover this. We started talking about giving transgenders a pilot program to basically $1,800 a month or something like that in San Francisco. So I felt it was worth covering as well too.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Because I remember. Yeah, that was the topic I wanted to touch on. Was the teacher dude and it was something else I wanted to touch on. But yeah, the teacher guy. That's a white supremacist. That's just normal conversations they already have. They just telling the truth, In this day and age, you got smartphones, so they keep getting caught telling the truth. They've been thinking like that. They've been saying that type of stuff. That's been who they is. And as far as that strip search thing, to where they strip searching black men, and all that, I want y'all to Google this. It's police officers that got caught on camera, on body cam, pulling down black man pants and following their penis. That's a real thing. This ain't nothing new. That's been happening. Like I'm from the era of the stop and frisk, to where they can stop you and just frisk you just because you look suspicious. They've been doing shit like that, claiming they looking for drugs and all that. Because what else other excuse would they have? What else would they have to hide behind? They claiming they looking for drugs. Is it down in your like down in your drawers or underpants? So they used to stop us and frisk us, and they'll strip you down on the block, like in front of everybody, and look at what you got going on underneath. They've been obsessed with the black man's penis. I say this all the time. The number one prized possession in the world is the American dollar. The number two most prized possession in the world is a big black dick. They is curious about your dick. As a black man, they is curious to what you got going on in your pants. When they used to hang black men, they used to cut the dick off and used to take it home. That was a prized possession. They is curious about what you got going on in your pants. They talk about that in the documentary Buck Breaking. That's part of it. I'm gonna get you to submit to this law to another man, law enforcement. You're gonna put your hands behind your back. I'm acting like I'm the police, but really I'm interested in your penis. I want to see what your penis look like. So I'm gonna use all this stuff you might got drugs on, but really I want to pull your pants down and look at your penis. They know that that's against their training. They already know that. They doing it anyway because they interested in that. This ain't nothing new. They've been doing that. Thank you, bro. I appreciate you letting me speak.
As always, bro, no problem. Appreciate having you up in the space. Let's go ahead and get to let's get the I'm not sure if Black State was first or Black Pressure.
Hey, Black State can jump.
Okay.
You can jump if you want.
Okay, yep, I appreciate it. Yeah, because I think you were before me, but I think there was a woman in the room that mentioned an injunction. Miss Rella talked about those farmer cases. There was one in Oregon, and I think the other one was somewhere in the southeast. But we have, we got these reparationist organizations out there in California, and so what you have to do is you have to have a victim in order to do that. And it sounds to me like a victim would be a single black mother who's a heterosexual who could file a lawsuit that would simply say, you all discriminated against me because of my sexuality. I have the same level of income. I'm dealing with the same issues, but just because I am heterosexual, I am not able to, gain advantage through this program. So, as someone mentioned, Johnny Cochran. So, I'm hoping, and hopefully this issue gets elevated to the CJEC and NAASD, because they are connected to the power structures in California, and maybe they can figure something out when it comes to that, or maybe they know attorneys that would file a federal lawsuit to prevent that from happening. So, shout out to everybody who connected those dots.
Hey, Black, Mel, I'm gonna say this one thing. I'm gonna say this one thing. Ain't I a woman? Ain't that what she said? Ain't I a woman? Ain't I a woman?
Ain't I a woman?
I'm just saying.
Shoot. and you know what? And pumps in a bump to the NAACP and every other organized entity. Why are y'all not doing anything? So y'all don't get. We're not about to acknowledge you. We need. Okay, so who knows somebody in Cali right now, specifically in San Francisco, that fits into the criteria that Black just said? Because if we gotta walk up into small claims court and have them tell us that's the wrong court and just go and lead us down the road, let's do it. Because this is out of control. And the NAACP, they always seem to swoop in, have these closed door meetings that last forever, and then I ain't seen no windfalls come through behind the NAACP discussions. NAACP got involved in that Mason, Tennessee activity And Mason, Tennessee still had to turn over their shit. So what's really tea? NAACP? I think this is where the grassroots really does need to pull up, tap in, and say, fuck it, we're going to do this shit our way because y'all ain't doing shit for us. I'm sorry for cussing y'all. I'm just fed up.
No problem.
Hey, news.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just drop down so you can make room for Bobo and some other speakers. Okay.
Ray, I hope you feel better. I can tell he is not feeling good. I
Nah.
know I heard y'all the other night saying y'all was sick, so y'all better be flushing yourselves with that vitamin C, vitamin D.
I've been drinking some. I've been drinking a little bit of orange juice and stuff.
I need Ray to stick around for like 5 minutes.
Oh, he gonna be around. He don't even have to drop, but if he wants to, I mean, but go ahead, Black Pressure. I'm gonna go to you. Then let me go to Stephanie. Then I'm gonna get to Volvo again.
Okay, so look, I'm asking the ladies on this one. Take a back seat for a couple of minutes. So this is the road, the ride about to get a little bumpy, okay? So, hey, News and DJ and Ray and Professor, Black Majority. I love all y'all, man. Y'all my people. Even though we only cool in the Twitter world, y'all my people, man. And it seems like y'all got a little softer. The room done got a little soft, so I'm gonna bring the hardcore back, right? So I got Twitter beef with y'all, but I still love y'all. So I'm gonna say that. So check this out, going back to what Professor was saying. And a lot of the ladies brought it up, but I know when you talk about men and women, we deal with emotions on different planes. So when y'all say, well, I don't have anything against transgenders, I disagree. Let me tell you why I disagree. Number one, I'm a raging heterosexual male. You can't measure my love for black women. It's immeasurable. I love everything about a black woman. I love the scent of a woman. I love the contours of a black woman, the contours of her body, how her touch, how her hair feels against it. Well, like I said, yes, you are. I mean, I love everything about a black woman. Everything. Now,
to get a robe, no.
So check this out, and I'm talking all my people in the room that got soft on. Think about it. Us as heterosexual black men, let's be real. If we encounter some 6'1" Negro with glitter lipstick, blonde weave down his back, a mini skirt on showing his behind, and some 7-inch heels, are we really kidding ourselves to say we want to keep the company of somebody like that? We want to be in the company of somebody like that? I have an issue with transgenders. I do not want to keep the company of somebody like that. Now, if a black transgender came up to me and say, hey, brother, I'm doing bad, I'm starving, you got some money, I'm going to give him some money. If he knock on my door, he's telling me he's starving, I'm going to give him something to eat. I'm not going to treat him differently in that manner. But as a heterosexual male, I do not keep the company of people like that. I do not want to be around somebody like that. I don't want to exchange ideas with somebody like that. That is not the MO of a heterosexual black male, period. So I know a lot of the women in here, and like I say, we deal on different planes of emotion. A lot of the women in here will treat someone like that differently, but me being in South Texas, don't really encounter a lot of people like that. I know I've lived, all different coasts before. You get to see, you go to the West Coast, you see that a lot. I briefly lived in LA. I told Ray I lived in Atlanta. As a heterosexual black male, I never I never mess with people like that, even to this day. I will never keep the company with people like that. So when people say, well, I don't have a problem with transgender, I can be brutally honest. I do. I'm not going to surround myself with people like that, and I will never choose to be around somebody like that. And I'll lay in my plane there.
Black Pressure. You can ask Brother Ray I don't care about the trans, man. I'm just doing it so we can protect Newstoter space.
Okay.
Well, real quick. Before I'm gonna let you get, because we got a new speaker up here, so I want to give her a chance to speak. But I'm gonna get back to you, Ree. Let me just hear what Stephanie has to say real quick.
No, I was gonna say you can let Rella finish speaking. She's always speaking good points. Hi, Rella.
Hey, Stephanie. So I'm gonna just say this real fast. When we're talking about legislation and we're talking about policy and things that are happening, I don't think it has to. I think emotionally, you are going to always feel a certain way about whatever you feel personally and have your opinions. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I have a good close friend who is transgender, and I would never. I'm not going to ever say that there's never any room for the discussion to be had where they can't have an opinion on how they think legislation and policy should be passed and it affects them on that front. I try to keep my personal opinions about what I view and certain things that I see at bay because that's part of controlling my emotions in regards to having open spaces that are recorded, especially getting ready to prepare to run for office soon. So I will say that we can have a one-on-one, we can have a kumbaya or whatever on social and hash it out on the views on how women really feel. But I need men to stop using the term emotional towards women as a dagger to say men don't have emotion, to somehow negate the fact that you don't feel. Matter of fact, the world told you and us that you didn't have any feelings, that you didn't know how to cover and to relate to your women, and that you had to go out and seek others because somehow you needed a submissive woman that somehow can that lacks the ability of empathy and emotion. Black men feel, black boys feel, they have emotions, they go through moods, they have their own opinions. They should be seen as human, whether you like it or not. And I think that using the term emotional is a cop-out to almost try to say that if we don't recognize you as a strong heterosexual male, then somehow you don't have emotion, then that misogyny, whatever that term that people like to throw out as well, has to somehow take place. And I don't think that that's the case here. I think you can have your opinions and how you operate in your daily life, and we can respect that, and we can hold that down. But at the end of the day, don't try to disassociate yourself in your humanity and make it seem like you don't know how to love and have emotion and feel and pain and stuff like that. I don't think that's fair. And we need to normalize black men showing their emotions, period. That's not a simp thing. That's not a chump thing. That's real. We literally just talked about men literally being sexually assaulted and not wanting to say anything. Why? Because emotionally, they are going to be feeling like they're going to be looked at differently. So I land my plane there.
All right. Appreciate you, sister. Let me kick it to Stephanie. Then I'm going to get back to you, Vovo.
Hi, salute to the chat. Thank God from all of the comments that I've been hearing. Thank God I'm a natural born female. That's all I'm going to say about that. But I just wanted to let you know that the Republicans got control of the House and Nancy Pelosi will be gone.
Team MAGA, let's go. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's...
I tried to post it to your wall, but for some reason it won't let me. So it's on my my Twitter feed. If you care to look for it, it's there. But that's all I had to say. Thank you.
Don't forget my boy Herschel got that $3 million the next day after the first election. Let's get it.
All right. Appreciate that.
Hey, Newstoter, I'll try to see if I can put it in the jumbotron. I'm gonna go get it right quick.
Okay, go ahead and do that, Professor. And like for those that don't know, like I say, I'm on a Twitter suspension for the next 6 days or so, so I can't post anything whatsoever, y'all. So if you could, if Professor could go ahead and put it up there, that'll be great. Let me go ahead and kick it to let me.
Newstoter, give us your cash app so we can put some money on your books.
It's
Hey, News, you gonna be a Muslim while you die? Far right. Hey, News, you gonna convert to Islam while you up?
oh no, I do the spirituality, but I leave like all of the religions and stuff. I believe in God, but all of the other the religions and stuff, I just leave that to everybody else. But I definitely believe.
Don't forget
You know how we do when we locked up. You know how we do when we locked up.
Wait, who got his kente cloth? They got your kente cloth ready. It's coming.
Make sure you hit the gym too, son. Hit the gym. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Hey, real quick, anybody that wants to contribute on Cash App, it's $Newstoter. It's $Newstoter. If anybody that wants to contribute, let me see who was.
Jumbotron, y'all. Get in the jumbotron. Far left or far right is in the jumbotron. The Cash App, and Stephanie's tweet is in the far left. Second button. Far left. Second button. Go ahead.
Volvo, go ahead, brother. And unmute your mic.
Oh, Bobo, hold on 1 second. Everybody in the jumbotron, you will see that I just tweeted it. Nancy Pelosi fired. Republicans gain control of the House.
That's
MAGA gang.
wow.
MAGA gang. Let's get it. Team Herschel. 42, son.
You got it, Volvo.
Go ahead. You know, we get souped up. You know what I mean? DNC is corrupt.
Hey, Volvo, you got it. Whenever you want to unmute your mic, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to say shout out to the sister. What is it? Love Black Soul Rose. That was absolutely right. As a black man, hell yeah, I hurt, I cry, I get scared, I get cold, I get hot. Hell yeah, I got emotion. Like we ain't no zombies. I'm not a robot. I'm a black man living out here in this world. I know what's going on. I'm woke. My eyes is wide awake. I know what's going on. Yeah, I'm fearful. I'm happy. I'm sad. I'm tough. I love. I hurt. I bleed. If you cut me, I'm gonna bleed. If you shoot me, I'm gonna die. So yeah, we is human beings. I ain't never heard a woman speak like that, and I appreciate you for that. I wanted to touch on the I came kind of late to the conversation.
It's cool. Go ahead, man. It's cool. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm getting that y'all said that y'all don't care about if somebody want to be gay, straight, transgender, or whatever. I'm of that same school of thought. I don't.
No, we didn't say that. Black press said that.
No, I like somebody was getting told they do. I don't have a problem with somebody transgender. Let me just say that. I don't care what you do with your reproductive organs. That's your business. I don't really care about your personal business. I care about the plan. I don't care about the man. I care about the plan. If that's what you decide to do, then that's your business. I'm like the most liberal, conservative person on the planet. I believe that you should be able to do whatever you want to do as long as your behavior is not hurting nobody else. If your behavior is not hurting nobody else, do that shit. I don't care. But when you start hurting other people, that's when I got a problem. If you wanna be a man and you wanna dress up as a woman and walk around as a woman, and that's not hurting me, that's not hurting nobody else, I don't give a fuck. I really don't give a fuck. I was taught to mind my business growing up. I grew up in a project. Mind your fucking business. You don't matter what they doing over there in door 4. It don't matter. That's not our business. So that's how I think. I mind my business. If you want to be that, then be that. But I got a problem when you try to tell me that a woman is not a woman. That my mother is not a woman. My sister is not a woman. My woman is not a woman. That is a woman can be anything. You can just say it. Like you can just say, I feel like a woman today. No, you is not a woman. A woman go through shit that I would never go through. My mother been through shit that I ain't never been through. And I done been through shit that my mother ain't never been through. And I done been through shit that women ain't never been through, and they done been through shit that I have never been through, and I will never go through. So when we start saying that anybody can be a woman, a man can be a woman, or a woman can be a man, that's when we going all the way left to the point to where we gotta watch how we talk. They talking about this person pronouns is this, and this. What is you talking about? A boy is a boy. I'm gonna close with this. I say this all the time. I believe in the ancestors. They had it right. When it come out, whatever it is, if it come out and it got a penis, that's a boy. Get him a blue shirt. If it don't got a penis, it's a girl. Get him a girl shirt. Appreciate y'all letting me speak. Get him a pink shirt. I'm gonna say. Appreciate y'all letting me speak.
No problem. Appreciate you, bro. Let me go ahead and kick it to Black Pressure. Black Pressure, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Okay, so I don't know how this deduction got made about me. That conversation or that response went totally left to everything that I said, but I'll say this and try to make it quick as possible. You had two people get on. One person just said, well, you should mind your business. And in literally the next two sentences, I have a problem when somebody try to say or redefine what a man and a woman is. Well, you just said that you ought to mind your own business. When they say that, you should just mind your own business, not say a word. That's how they feel. They not hurt nobody. If they say whatever, you should just mind your own business, right? Anyway, we'll move on. That's a room for another day. Excuse me, I didn't interrupt you. Thank you. So, like I'm saying, you get this narrative about you should feel how you want to feel, and everybody has emotions and everybody has opinions. Well, that doesn't apply to me. When I have an opinion about a certain subject matter or a certain social ill or a certain social issue, does my opinion matter? I can't give my opinion. When I gave my opinion, all the responses was bloody murder. When everybody, when people respond to me, my opinion was bloody murder, but you flip that coin, oh yes, and lollipops and candy canes and lemonade springs. I should not be critical. You're wrong, you need to be correct.
Just real quick, just let my man Black Pressure go ahead and speak his truth, and then when anybody wants to speak, they can go ahead and raise their hand. So we got next, we got the Only Male Cruz. She has her hand up, so just let him speak because he didn't interrupt anybody. So y'all go ahead and let Black Pressure go ahead and do his thing. Go ahead, Black Pressure.
But you see this. This is a social ill. This is, to me, in my personal opinion, I'm not even gonna say that. I'm gonna skip that. We're so quick to run and defend homosexuality, and the minute someone has an ideology contrary, you instantly become a hostile. You're hostile to that person that says, okay, that homosexual or that transgender should be able to think like they want, talk like they want. Someone contrary to that, sit down and shut the hell up. That is an issue. That is an issue to me. But like I say, it's getting late news. I know you want to close the room and start winding it down so we can talk about this another day.
Oh, appreciate you, brother. I mean,
real fast news.
Go ahead.
Real fast. I'm against homosexuality. Just for the record, that way we got it on record. Yes, I'm against that. But if your homosexuality is not affecting me, I don't care what you do. Like I said, I'm a mind my business type of nigga. I don't care if that's what you want to do. I'm gonna say that it's not right. I don't agree with it. But if that's your business, then that's your business. You gotta live with that. You being a homosexual don't affect me. But if you telling me, if you got me out here saying in society that my mama who had me is not a woman, then that's affecting me. Then now you affecting everybody. I gotta step up. I gotta throw that away. But if you want to do that in your personal life, I believe that you deserve the same respect as every other human being deserves. I don't care if you like that or not. But I just don't agree with your behavior. But your behavior is not hurting anyone else. You got to live with the consequences. Whatever the consequences is with that, if you willing to live with it, then do that shit. Like, whatever you want to do it.
Yeah, everything I head flew over his head, but that's fine.
Volvo, let me give you a shout out, brother. I appreciate your contribution on Cash App too, brother. So thank you so much for your donation. I both of y'all, I get what both of y'all saying. Know what I'm saying? Black pressure, you basically like, hey, I'm not with it or whatever. Trust me, it's a lot of brothers on here that share the same viewpoint that you share as well too. I get what Volvo's saying. Volvo's like, hey, you know what I'm saying? If that's what you want to do, fine, whatever, this and that. But don't tell me basically, you know what I'm saying, that okay, if you want to say you're a woman, fine, okay, you can be a woman or whatever, but don't tell me how I have to address people as being women or men or this or that, whatever. So I get what both of you guys saying or whatever. So it really ain't that deep or that serious. So I understand and I respect both of what you're saying because let's be honest, both of what y'all saying, I kind of feel it to a certain degree. I mean, it's just not clear cut. Like, hey, I'm like this here. I can't change anybody. If somebody wants to do this or whatever, fine or whatever. I know personally, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not just gonna hang out with a bunch of transgender dudes or whatever because that's just not me or whatever. But if somebody wants to hang out with them, fine or whatever. But I'm not gonna do it. But at the same time, I know what I consider a woman as well too. So the politics aside and all this other dumb stuff that people want to say, I know what a woman is. So I don't need anybody to educate me on what a woman is, and I don't need a new definition of what a woman is or this and that. If you want to call yourself a woman, if I want to call myself a Chinese, okay, I guess I could call myself a Chinese. Don't mean it's true, but hey, fine. If that's what I want to say, fine. But I get what both of you brothers saying too. And like I say, thank you again, Volvo, for your contribution on Cash App. Let me kick it to Mel Cruz, the only Mel Cruz. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
All right, thank you. Hey, yeah, so and to me that's okay. From my position about the topic of the room is it's not that the money has been earmarked and is set aside to give to transgenders. That's not the point. The point for me is that some type of way these government entities decide who they want to bless, for lack of a better term. Biden keeps sending billions and billions and billions of dollars over to Ukraine, but then he tells this lie about, oh yeah, y'all about to get y'all, the website is open, come on and sign up to get your student loans reduced. And then as soon as the election is over, oops, sorry, there's a hiccup in it. So that's where I'm coming from. There's so many issues that we have to prioritize. Being transgender, being homosexual, being LGBTQ, all that, whatever all that is legal right now. But that's right now not initially the purpose of this room. So that we can table that particular argument and people can go back and forth about their thoughts, agreement or disagreement or whatever. The point is that what are we going to do when this room shuts down? What solutions have we determined that we need to enact, and what actions do we need to take in order to say, look, y'all gonna stop looking over Black folks just so you can fund these your special interest groups, and it's always being done against Black Americans. That has to stop. How are we gonna fix it?
That's a good point, sister. Do you have any particulars on how you think we could go about fixing it? I mean, do you have any ideas?
Yeah, absolutely. We need to either get some paralegals. I like what Black said earlier about finding someone to be that test person to go in there and file the initial lawsuit. But if we can't get any established attorneys who look at the news every day with their ambulance chasing asses, they see all this going on. But evidently, it's not impacting them to this degree. So we got to get some paralegals, or we have to get the dude who defended himself from running them people down in Wisconsin. I mean, if that's what we have to do, then that's what we need to do. But we need to do something. So either get some paralegals and file a lawsuit, walk it in there ourselves, and this is a full room. So who else has an idea? But we can't continue to pursue the same avenues. NAACP, they've already shown us what they're about, and it's not much. So we got to do something new. We got to do it, the grassroots style. What does that look like? And me, the direction that this conversation or further conversations, because this is a great room, that the conversations need to go in. How are we going to file a lawsuit, put down an injunction in all these states that keep overlooking Black Americans and giving money to these special interest groups? I land my plane.
And you made a great point as well too. So definitely got to get on the legal side of things as well too. DJ, I see you got your hand up. Let me kick it to you want to say something real quick before we kick it to Reed?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Well, I'll say this. Hey, Sister Mel Cruz, the first thing we could do is start gathering our peoples together. And the first way we do that is you come up to social media, where we build in our own Black American network, and we could get the hell off of Twitter and say what we want to say amongst each other. So that's first and foremost. And once we establish that a little bit better, because everything is moving in a digital setting, we're no longer, pulling up to the board meetings like that. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, this is how we communicate. So we could be better amongst each other by pulling up to our own network and get the hell off of Twitter and Facebook and Screw2 and all this other stuff. We'll be better off. And then once we do that, we can start, being amongst each other and saying, hey, look, okay, all the teachers over here, all the people that were principals, all the superintendents, people that held these positions, y'all go over here into the social room and y'all work this shit out here. That's how we start here. You know what I mean? But go ahead, whoever wants to talk.
Let me add this real quick, and let me thank everybody in the room as well too, because I wasn't able to tweet anything out, and still we had a good space with people coming in and stuff like that. So I had to depend on you guys sending DMs and just asking you guys to go ahead and tweet out the space. So I just want to thank everybody that did that. We still was able to get a pretty decent crowd and a nice space going on, even though I'm on the Twitter suspension, couldn't tweet anything out. All my people that normally come through and stuff, they had my back. So I just want to let you guys know I appreciate you and thank you so much. Normally we do the spaces Monday through Thursday. I probably won't be doing one tomorrow, but I will definitely be trying next week, get back into the swing of things, especially once the suspension gets lifted, and get back to tweeting out 25 to 30 articles a day as well, to curating that news that's so valuable and important to Black America. So I just want to say thank you to all you guys and stuff like that. Couldn't do it, but you guys went ahead and y'all still made the space available tonight, even though I couldn't, besides DM and couldn't tweet, retweet, comment, or anything like that. So thank you guys. I just want to go ahead and just give you your props for helping the Twitter space tonight go ahead and be a nice space. So let me kick it to Ree.
Hey, I just want to just quickly say I heard you, Black Pressure, and it wasn't. There's no dig, and I think that, like as I said, and what I said is that someone who has your opinion, your voice deserves precedence in room as well. And I did say that, and I want to make sure that you understand that I acknowledge that. And then the other thing is, my point is, emotion is a part of actually who we are. I don't care if you're a woman or a man. And I think that in regards to policy and politics, things affect us. Things affect us a lot. And so I don't like the fact that people try to use the term emotion to somehow negate the fact that, almost as if like in order for a man to be a man, or as my father would say, a man's man, that somehow they don't feel, or they don't have, they can't be viewed as having a position of being a man's man with the levels of emotion and pain and hurt and trauma, and still stand on a square. And so that was my point in regards to what you had said. Not necessarily saying that you can't have a voice, because you most certainly do. So I hope.
Hey, let me respond to the sister real quick. Hey, sister, if you thought that I was like an enemy combatant or anything to you, I wasn't, and I apologize if I came off like that. I was not coming at you like that. I don't know if I follow you. I will follow you. Chop it up on the back end somewhere one day. Hey, with news, I got one thing to say, man, and she don't lie. Hey, what flavor ramen noodles you want me to send you? Chicken or beef?
Oh.
You gonna come out with high blood pressure. Your ass gonna have high blood pressure and sugar.
So step number what's your statement, my friend? If I can mail you, I can see some mail.
Let me go ahead real quick, y'all, and kick it back to Volvo. Volvo, go ahead, man. Go ahead. You got it. Now, I see my man Ray trying to come back up too.
Yeah, I just want to, the sister is right? You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to get away from that, like, all that, you got to be super tough all the time to be a man's man and to be considered to be a manly man. You got to be super tough. I can guarantee every man in this room done been through shit. We done all cried. We done all been fearful. We done all been through shit. We done all been depressed. We done all been through, just times where we wasn't at our best. You can't act like a bitch all the time. I ain't gonna accept that. You know what I'm saying? I done had friends cry to me about shit, and I done said, bro, look on the bright side, nigga. You gotta toughen up. But yeah, he supposed to go through that. That's a part of life. You know what I'm saying? We just taught that, hey man, you gotta suck it up. Which you do gotta suck it up. You do gotta suck it up as a man. It ain't fair. Trust me, it ain't fair being a man. If you go out here and get beat up, they gonna laugh at you. Hey, if a woman get beat up, they gonna feel sorry for her. If you ain't got no money, they gonna feel sorry for the woman. If you ain't got no money, you was a broke ass nigga. You can't think. You don't know how to go out here and hunt. So it ain't fair. But it's okay to go through shit, and it's okay to express what you going through. This is how I look at it, right? I done took a lot of losses in my life. And I look at it as like you gotta take that loss, you gotta internalize it, and you gotta use it as a lesson to try not to make that same mistake again. To try not to walk into that again. So we all go through shit. I'm just glad that the sister was able to put it. I ain't heard a woman speak like that. That got our back like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause most of the time, women want to see you. You got a nigga, you better man up, nigga. In which, nigga, you better man up, nigga, and make it work. Nigga, you better make it work. But she get it. You know what I'm saying? I want to say I appreciate you, sister. I hope you got a husband. He a very lucky man to have somebody.
Hey, look at nigga. Stop trying to.
Yeah, now you stepping. Nah, you stepping. Nah, you a step.
Hold on. I'm not demeaning nobody, but brother is looking. Brother Tripper, what's good? Come to the mic.
Hey, News. Kick Volvo out the room. We don't like him. Volvo and Shepherd, nah, we don't like him.
No, listen. Am I stepping? No, hell no.
Yeah, you stepping, man. You stepping,
No, come here, baby. Come here. They can't hear you. I'm not saying that because I'm trying to get on her or nothing like that. I'm already at the house. I'm at the house with a woman.
Hey, look here,
Volvo, we looking at you.
Nah, we just busting your chops, but yeah, that is simping those.
Nah, we clowning you, Volvo. We just clowning you.
Yeah, we clowning you, bro. Newstoter gonna do a simping stage.
For real, I heard what she said. That's some real stuff.
He put the sister on the phone too. Okay, Volvo, there you go. He put the sister on the phone. Hey, now Reed be now. I got to give Reed her credit.
A lot of women are not like that. A lot of women are not like that, and she's saying the real.
We just busting chops.
Oh yeah.
Hey, News, I got a question.
Yeah, this is my thing right here. This is my little thing. Like, I get left alone, and she leave me alone. She knows that I'm into this, so she let me talk my shit. I was just showing her a salute, brother. That's it.
Real quick. Go ahead, Black Pressure. What you was gonna say?
Yeah, mine is quick. So, I want to ask the room. There's mainly a couple of people I've been responding to. So, probably, more the impetus of my point, and this is a question. You're born a man for a reason, and you're born a woman for a reason. Those are not accidents. So my question is, by nature, do men and women deal with emotions different? Yes or no? And I'll land my plane there.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, by nature we do.
Yes. You're not gonna hear an argument with me saying that somehow we do not deal with emotions differently. And I don't think that was what my point was. My point literally was just saying that society has made it so that we do not recognize men's emotions, and that somehow we have to somehow ignore them when we're having conversations, and then we get into these back and forth gender arguments when honestly I think that you can have a fluid conversation and actually recognize emotions play a factor on how we respond to each other and things that affects us.
I have something to admit. Okay, I do not cry. I despise crying. As
my
I'm talking
God,
about.
why?
No, let me tell you. Look, I'm actually going to give you props because you beat this. Since you beat it out of me, I'm gonna give you props. I really don't. I despise crying. I hate to cry, but I will say this: the woman I love the most in my life was my grandmother. She halfway raised, and I'll say this, and you please don't record this news. In fact, when I say this, I want everybody to erase it from your memory. My grandmother has been dead for 10 years now, right? She's the only woman I ever really loved with all my heart. Every once in a while, I go in the corner where nobody can see me, and I do shed a few tears because I miss her every day, and I'll lay my plane down.
Hey, that's real talk, man. I mean, my grandma passed away a few years ago too. Ain't nothing like them grandmas. Like, well, we from the South too, so we got them Southern grandmas. So the history and yeah, man.
Hey, and you know my grandmother was notorious for?
What's that?
You get smart with her, she'll slap the shit out your ass and dare you to frown after she slapped.
Yeah, them grandmas, like those grandmas serious, man. Let me go.
With a song, Black Russian.
Let me real quick. Let me go ahead and kick it to Black Majority State. And real quick, y'all, too, like I said, about this whole thing with the transgender thing and whatnot, like I say, to me, as long as they would go ahead and take that money and make it fair, give it to the low income people in that area, because I'm sure not every low income person is transgender. That was my issue with it as well, too. If you said we're going to take this money and the people that's making under $40,000 a year or $50,000 a year over there, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna add additional $1,800 to their living arrangements and stuff like that. You know, nobody would have an issue with it. But the fact that you went ahead and you singled out another group or whatever, you know, that's the issue. And also, like everybody's been saying in space, we want to know how is this money going to be distributed between the Black transgenders, the Latino transgenders, the white transgenders. Who's going to be controlling this and that or whatever? What kind of oversight is going to be what checks and balances going to be around and whatnot. So before all of this stuff gets finalized or whatever, we want to actually see some receipts to go along with this as well. So let me kick it to the Black Majority State real quick.
Okay, awesome, man. So I want to talk to the emotional, the emotional part of the conversation. So I didn't have my father in my life as a kid growing up. I got some memories of times where he picked me up, took me to the movies, took me shopping, things of that nature. When I was a teen and I was basically a criminal, I got to spend a lot of time with him, and he had an older son and a bunch of sisters. I think he's got like 13, 14, 15 kids, something like that. But he was a Vietnam vet. I know he was in active combat, likely killed some folks. And I've witnessed him knock grown men out with a single punch, and literally they're just done. So he's a very strong Black man. However, when his father died, and I never met his father, at that funeral, he cried like a baby. And growing up, all I wanted was a relationship with my father, you know, as a young man, young boy, and to watch him cry like that. And I mean, I'm a criminal. I'm carrying guns. I'm in a car full of 4 dudes. We got the guns, the straps on us. and we're searching for whoever, is a problem. And it just was one of those moments that I'll never forget. Later on, me and my father, we had different issues. And I'll just end that part of the story on that. However, me today, every movie I'm in, because I'm a big movie guy. Like I said, he took me to my first movie as a kid, but I do get emotional. I don't care if it's a Disney movie. Like, quite literally, I'm in the movie and I'm tearing up when, like literally, I'm watching a kid's cartoon and I'm tearing up in the movie. It doesn't affect who I am as a man in any way, shape, or form. But it's just a part of who I am. I do live an abundant life, and I do appreciate all of my emotions because it does let me know I'm a human being. It lets me know I'm alive and I'm still here. Because the day that I wake up and I don't have emotions, to be quite honest, I really don't want to be here. So I'll end with that.
Thank you, Black Majority State. Just to add to that, like I was fortunate enough to have my dad, raise me. Him and my mom been together damn near 50 years, about 46 years or whatever. And he's
congratulations, man.
Yeah, and he's from the old school. Like my dad, because I'm gonna be honest, my mom was the one that whooped ass. Like dad was working and stuff like that, and she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna tell your daddy this and that," and then you just freeze up or whatever. But the mama was the one that actually whooped ass. And we're gonna be honest, I think my dad might have whooped my ass one time in my whole life, but it was my mom who whooped that, and she didn't mind whooping ass, to be honest. But my dad was from the old school, and he was one of those type of dudes. Like when she did whoop your ass and you came out the room crying and stuff, he just had that like, "Hey boy, crying solves nothing." Like he was always he was all, but like I've never seen him in my life cry. Not when my grandma died, any family members, anything like that. I've never seen him cry. But on the flip end, like I did cry. Like I ain't gonna lie. Like we were opposites on that end. Like hell, if I got to the point like I got my ass whooped, I cried. Like I mean, I'm like, hey, this hurts. Like what we talking about right here? Like so, it's just a different era, different type. I looked up to him and stuff like that. But I ain't gonna lie, like he was quick to saying that about feeling sorry for yourself and crying solves nothing and this and that or whatever. But hey, we do have tear ducts for a reason. So we got our brothers, we got to remember that as well too. Like nobody should be a crying little, sobbing little, you know what, and sitting up here crying at the drop of a hat or whatever. Like I mean that is a sign of pure weakness. I tell my sons that, like, listen, knock it off, okay? You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, we are human. We do bleed, and we do have tear ducts. So, there's nothing wrong with a man, crying from time to time or whatever. Now, just to sit up there and just cry like so many of these kids that they raising nowadays and all of this other, this different type of raising that they want to go ahead and say that this is the way it is. A man should have some toughness to him. I truly believe that. I mean, you don't have to be the hardest thing in the world walking around, but you need to have a little bit of resolve and a little bit of toughness about yourself as well too. Because if you don't, we all the men here, we know that you will be preyed upon by other men. Okay, they will get on you. Well, men they spot and they smell weakness and stuff like that and fear as well too. So they will come at you and they will try to punk you. So you have to stand up for yourself. You have to be a man or whatever. But at the same time, like I said, there's nothing wrong, at least in my book, and everybody's different. We got tear ducts for a reason, man. Like I say, so sometimes emotion is what it is or whatever. So I don't know how we got on this, but god damn, I was talking about the trend.
Everybody was attacking Black Pressure, and that's how we got on.
I was talking.
Ain't nobody attacking you.
I was talking about.
Nobody liked me today.
But to make a long story short, I'm against giving the transgenders this money alone. Unless you're going to give it to all the rest of the poor people in San Francisco, I'm dead set against it. I think, once again, you're picking favorites and stuff like that. This is another Democratic move and stuff like that. It's always, like I say, the favorites can never be like, they can never pick the entire black race. If they do pick black people, it's going to be black women, and they're going to say, well, you black men, y'all can't come here. You can't do this. So it's always this divide game right here. So, no, I don't think that the transgenders should be getting that money. I think that you should take it to the poorest people in that city, be a transgender, heterosexual, straight, bisexual, or whatever, and you need to split the money up like that and give it to people that the other people. There's other people that need it just as much as well too. So we got a bunch of black homeless people on the street throughout the nation and definitely in California. So you need to go ahead and split that money up, man.
Hey, also news too, real quick. My grandfather and my daddy always told me, never trust a nigga that never been in a fist fight. And I believe that to this day. I'm gonna lay on my plane.
That's a good one too.
Wait. But did he say never been in a fist fight and won, or just never been in a fist fight?
It's never been in a fist fight. To this day, y'all can call it awkward and whatever. I met one dude in my life that told me never been in a fist fight, and I never befriended dude. I do not trust, like News, you kind of building on what News saying. A man that's never had to stand up for himself, physically win or lose, I don't trust nobody like that.
Hey, Rella, if a man don't got a toolbox in his house, he ain't a real man, yo. That's real shit. You know what I mean?
You ain't got to tell me. My father raised me, so at the end of the day, I should say my fathers and my mother, and aunts. But like I said, just don't try to separate the two. Is all I'm saying. Put them both together and stand strong on that. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely. Let me kick it real quick, y'all. The Volvo, we're gonna be closing the space out soon. So we've been going almost 3 hours. So I'm not gonna be in here too much longer. We'll let Volvo DJ and go ahead and get something in. I know Ray's been under the weather and stuff like that. I'm with you, Ray, but you sound sicker than me. I almost didn't do the space tonight because when I got out, about 6 o'clock, man, I was just tired, like, oh boy, like just kind of aching. So
hey, since you can propose now, hey, Volvo. Let me play this little video real quick.
how quick is the video? Because how quick?
I ain't gonna play all of it. It's 3 minutes, but I'm just playing this.
Wait, DJ, are you gonna open up a space?
Oh, here we go. Late night, y'all. Shit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because like I said, I'm about to get, because I gotta take me some medicine and stuff and try to lay down too, boy. Because I'm still.
Yeah, rubber triple coming up next. Let's pull up. You know what I'm saying?
Stop it. A Newstoter, get your boy and listen. Feel better, you and Ray. You please feel better. And thank you, Bobo, and tell your beautiful, lovely lady next to you that I said thank you. And love everybody up in this piece.
Definitely. Let me let Volvo get something in, and then, like I say, I'm gonna go ahead and close it out for the night, y'all. I appreciate everybody. Ray, you got your hand up. Let me let you say something real quick.
I was just gonna say, I just took that flu shot, so that's why I was got my stomach a little bad. So probably a couple of days, I'm gonna be straight, man. I was over here laughing at Volvo, man. Sounded like Bernie Mac on House Party. He was a lucky man.
Yeah, that flu shot will get you sick though, boy. So like, I never took the flu shot, but yeah, it'll get you sick there. Volvo, go ahead and unmute your mic.
I just want to say to all the men that can hear me, this is just my opinion. If you never had the love of a woman, your daughter, your mother, your grandmother, your significant other, you really missing it, bro. This new way of thinking of where like this manosphere thing, I'm just for the record, this manosphere thing where they bashing women and all that, I don't know nothing about that. All the women in my life love me. All the women in my life love me. They worship me. Any woman that's around me consistently, she worships me. She loves me because I'm a man. She looks for me for guidance. And the women that I like, an ex-girlfriend or somebody that I cut off, that's not around me no more. They know that they fucked up, and they hate me because they know that they fucked up. They know what they had. So if you never had the love of a woman, bro, I'm telling you, bro, you is missing. We need that in our life. So I want to salute the women. And I also want to salute the women as far as the black women specifically. Y'all had it harder than any woman on this planet. No other woman had to go through what y'all done been through and continuously go through. You know, ain't no other woman that had to be told that her hair wasn't up to par. No other woman had to be told that the way that her just manner of how she is was up to par. No other woman had to watch her man be destroyed and emasculated in the way that y'all had to watch. Y'all still stood next to us. So I'm gonna always love y'all and salute y'all. Y'all been through hell. We all been through hell, but y'all stood next to us. So for all the black men that can hear me, we must love our women. That's all we got. Our women love us. As far as for me, the women in my life, they worship me. They adore me. I can just tell by the way they talk to me, by the way they look at me when they ask me for stuff or they come to me for advice or whatever. It's like those my women, they're my babies. You know what I mean? Like they're my babies. They look to me for guidance. So for any black man that feel like our women is missing something or something like that, it's us. We gotta show them the way. I appreciate you letting me speak, bro.
No problem, man.
Hey, those cue the violins, man. Play some violins in the back.
Yeah, for real.
Hey, let me just say this real quick, y'all, because normally when the space close out, I'll send a tweet just thanking everybody for coming to the space and stuff. I won't be able to do that tonight, so I just want to go ahead and thank you guys now while you're in the space. Once again, thank you guys for coming to the space and making this a great space. Even though, like I said,
hey, Newstoter, Original is in here. Did you see him?
Yeah, I saw Original. Original was the first person. He was the first person in the space.
Oh, hey, Original. You know I gotta say what's up to the old gentleman up in here.
Oh yeah.
You better stop being quiet when adults around you. You better learn how to speak up.
Yeah, Original was the first person in the space with me. So yeah, I definitely know he's been here. But let me just go ahead and just thank you guys right now, like I say, because I can't send a tweet out and thank you like I always do. So I just want to thank everybody that came to the space tonight and supported as always. So on that note, y'all, DJ, are you doing a space tonight too, or?
Yeah, we got.
Mel, you better follow me back, Mel.
Okay, I'm about to do it right now. Yeah, DJ, because I've been missing you, so we need you tonight on Twitter Spaces.
Oh yeah. So I'm gonna run and get me some. I've been taking some medicine and stuff, y'all. So I'm gonna take probably some Benadryl and chill and whatnot. Let me say shout out to you, Valerie, also for your contribution on Cash App too. So Valerie just sent in a contribution. Thank you, Valerie. Thank you to everybody that contributed on Cash App. It's $ Newstoter for anybody that wants to contribute. Guys, like I said, we'll get back to tweeting the news out next week. Unfortunately, I tried to appeal the Twitter suspension, but it was to no avail. So next week we'll start back putting the content back out. We'll start back with the spaces as well. Even though I'll be suspended next Monday, I definitely want to do a couple spaces before Thanksgiving get in, y'all. So we definitely gotta hold some spaces here before Thanksgiving comes in. But once again, y'all, thank you once again for making this a great space. I appreciate everybody, the content. My man DJ, he's gonna go ahead and hold the space as well too. DJ, I'm gonna try to drop in, man. I need a little bit of rest or whatever, but I might try to pop my head in for a second or whatever. So once again, y'all, thank you for everybody that came and supported, all of my speakers, listeners, those who tweeted out the space, because I definitely couldn't tweet nothing out. So thank all y'all that I DM'd and y'all tweeted out and let me know, like, hey, we're going to support you. So thank you once again for supporting Newstoter.com, the largest Black-owned news curation platform today in America, y'all. So make sure y'all get on that social with Black Majority State. Go ahead and get y'all a profile. Support this brother. You see, Twitter banned me, but I guarantee you Black ain't going to ban me off of social. So they ain't banned me. I should say they suspended me, but I guarantee you Black ain't going to suspend me off of social as well. So y'all go ahead and go there to our own platforms. Go ahead. If everybody starts going ahead and signing up and just creating a little profile, man, we can go ahead and get a few thousand people over there, man, and things just circulate. You know how Black folks do word of mouth, how things spread around. Oh yeah, it's a new Black-owned social media site. And they go ahead and they post stuff and they chilling and this and that. You ain't got to worry about getting banned and all heckled and all this other stuff like you do on Twitter and Facebook and this and that. Yeah, it ain't just ran by a bunch of white supremacists and what. So y'all make sure y'all go ahead and go ahead and get that social profile, man, so we can go ahead and we can start linking up. And on that note, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and close the space out. Thank you once again, y'all. Y'all have a good night, and God bless you.
Hey.